Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck 2 Sim live stream. Today, the 12th of July 2019, and we've got a very exciting flight for you today. We're going from the capital of Germany, Berlin. We're in the Tegel airport, all the way to ORBX's brand new East Midlands airport scenery. It's an airport I've actually been wanting to fly into for quite some time. I've actually flown into there a number of times in my career. So it's, as you could probably hear, you probably didn't hear over the weather, the intro music, it's absolutely chucking it down here in Berlin. Active Sky has a tendency of when there's CBs, I think, forecast on the METAR, they just whack in a few thunderstorms. Now, I don't know if you remember, about a couple of months ago, last time we flew through some thunderstorms, I nearly lost control of the aircraft in X-Plane 11. So hopefully we won't have one right on the middle of our SID on our departure. I've got some usual faces here, some of the members. Hello, says Stuart Walsh just now. Heyo, please. Pleasure seeing you flying to my home country. Greetings from Frankfurt. Thank you very much. Hey ho. We've got a few other new names too I have not seen before, so welcome everyone indeed. We already have an aircraft slewing around, so hopefully no issues on VATSIM this evening as before. If we do, I'm just going to log straight out of the network. We should have some, hopefully, ATC service as it is a Friday evening. Right, so here we are in Berlin Tegel, completely cold and dark. On stand 12, we've just started the boarding here. This scenery is, I believe, from Aerosoft. I actually bought it a while back, and I've been meaning to fly from Tegel for a while, so yeah, we've got two lovely sceneries here. I think we'll be departing off runway 26 left now. I was looking at the flight plan I prepared earlier. It was forecasting runway 08 right, but the winds ever so slightly shifted to be westerly now, so we'll have to see as it is. And here we are, jumping into the flight deck. It's absolutely raining cats and dogs, as you can see. This should be quite an interesting departure. So these are the fantastic rain effects from skiing. See the lightning in the background as well. So without further ado, let's get some power to the aircraft. Battery on, GPU on the bus. I think a lot of people were expecting me to fly the Airbus today, but I haven't had time to play with it and read up on it as well. But I will fly that probably in the next few months or so, but again, the opportunities I have to stream are quite limited, and ZIBO has obviously released 3.34 final, and we're now into 3.35, so we're testing here a lot of new additional features in the FMC, which I'll introduce you today. Some further fine-tuning to VNAV as well, so it'd be quite good to see for that, because I've basically been giving ZIBO as much information as I can from the real FMC to further enhance the mod. Right, so battery on, electric hydraulic pumps can now come on as well. Landing gear lever verify is down. We've got 6 green lights, and then we'll check all the aircraft ships documentation to make sure it's all up to date. Now the safety inspection checklist. I've already started the boarding, as you can just about hear in the background there. Yeah, it's raining so hard it's very difficult to hear, but we are doing so at the moment. So let's do the fire tests and things. So come up here, turn up the panel lighting, do the squib continuity test, fault test, master caution, APU. Master caution overheat detector we have, and then the fire test, which is this side. There we go, we've got the fire warning as well. Ruben Ria, greetings from Portugal. Boa tarde to you. Let's go. That's all my Portuguese pretty much exhausted there. Done the fault fire test up onto the up overhead panel, then emergency exit lights we can arm. I've already pre-fueled the aircraft to the amount that's required. Fastest seatbelt sign is on. I've got Tim Fraser, who's a member of mine, someone I've been speaking to on a personal level, who's just come in with a £10 donation. Incredible donation. We've got Brian Kruger, who's in the chat going, we want Jack, we want Jack. For those who are new to the stream, my Labrador, who's 4.5 years old now, is called Jack. No doubt he will venture on his way up here in the next few minutes, because he'll hear me talking and wondering who the hell I'm talking to. I'm talking to this darn PC monitor, but no doubt he'll come up here at some point, Brian. Okay, right, so gosh, you guys completely distract me. Right, where did we get to? Safety inspection checklist. Yeah, I was up here, done that. Come up to the MCP later. We check the flap lever matches the flap indicator, which is up, and we now do the cargo fire test. So you just simply push the test button, verify the fire bell goes out, the detector fault light doesn't illuminate, and you have the fire warning light. Working our way down then the pedestal, we've got a new member coming in as well, Philip Paul. Paulin, thank you very much for the membership. You will automatically be invited to the members-only Discord channel, where you'll get a little bit more of a personal insight into what I do from day to day, and you'll have some feedback and advice from other line pilots and fellow simmers as well. Thanks for the membership. Right, let's do the flight test recorder, check the circuit breakers are in as well, stall warning tests. We do every single initial flight. The Mach airspeed warning to us is always delayed in the ZIBO mod, as I mentioned every stream. IRS mode selectors to nav, heading STS, 9 minutes for the alignment today. Emergency escape route we check, captain's circuit breakers, and the rest is all down here, PBE, and the jump seat, which is very uncomfortable if you ever find yourself sat in the flight deck. You don't want to sit on that. There's usually a cushion on there, actually. I have no idea why ZIBO doesn't have the cushion modelled. Now we've done the safety inspection checklist, we can do the before start flow. So just getting the latest weather from Berlin Tegel. Obviously we can see it's raining hard in the simulator, but it's showing that it's quite light winds, 10k, towering cumulus clouds, 20 degrees, 1009. I must drop an email to Active Sky saying, yeah, if you have towering cumulus, it doesn't necessarily mean thunderstorms. I think they should have it so you only get rain like this if there's thunderstorms or rain on the METAR there, because this is absolutely chucking it down here in the sim. The QNH then is 1019 in Berlin. We could set that to MFRA, which I don't seem to set every other stream. We'll put that up as elevation plus 1,000 feet. So, whoops, it's so sensitive here. Oh, there we go, back to Barrow, and we'll put it. What is the elevation here in Berlin? It is 122 feet. Oh, set the wrong QNH. That's why. It's 1009, not 1019. That's a bit of an error. You never want to set the wrong QNH. And elevation plus 1,000 feet, so it's about 1150. So we'll set that as the MFRA. And remember, guys, that is the altitude at which we accelerate in the event of an engine failure prior to that height and after V1. Cole, a member, and often coming in pretty much every single stream with $25. Unbelievable. Thanks, Carl. Figure I'll try and get this in early so as not to violate the sterile cockpits. Very good. Yes, no distractions up to sea from edge to start to top of climb, Carl. So thank you very much for the $25 again. My dog's, the Labrador's going to get extremely fat for you, because I often, as I say, last time you donated, or the time before that, I gave the money towards a bone for Jack. So thank you again, Carl. Very, very generous. Right, now we'll carry on with the setup. 1150 for the MFRA. The rest is coming in here, and we've got terrain, airport selected on the ND as well. We'll pop up the main panel lights as well, background lights, and autopilot flight director system lights. And at that point, we can now jump into the FMC. Noah Featherstone, guys, very generous again. $20. Have a good flight, Captain. Have a drink, not a coffee on me. Yes, Noah, well remembered. I've been saying for many months that all the donations go towards getting me coffee. I don't actually drink coffee. I'll get myself some sort of smoothie or decaffeinated beverage on your behalf. That's very generous again. Thank you, guys. These guys are members. You know, you guys already contribute so much to my work. So thank you once again. Auto MKey, what are the new updates in the ZIBO? So if you put exclamation mark ZIBO, you'll see what version we're flying. It's several changes to the FMC and VNAV, which is where I think is the main area to work on. The flight model's great, all the systems work really well. The FMC is the area to work on now. So you'll see a lot of changes which I'll discuss during this stream today. Right, so into the FMC we go. Ident, we've got the latest AirAC from Navigraph, which matches the real world charts. We're going from Berlin Tegel. Coordinates for the GPS we can pop in here, and then we select route, and we're going to East Midlands, Echo Golf November X-ray. Of course, the call sign is Broadsword 01 for only one. Well, actually, we've got two aircraft in the fleet. We've got a 737NG and a 737-200, which we bought from the Mojave Desert on the cheap. Departures, we've got runway 26 left, which is the preferred westerly runway for departure in Berlin Tegel. And the SID we're expecting is the Brain to November. There we go. Right, so now we can punch in the rest of the routing. So if I go to Avitab, charts, there is the operational flight plan, which we can pop up here. So here's the flight plan straight off the press from SimBrief. Cruising at 360 is actually an initial step climb for some reason that's been programmed in by SimBrief. Not sure what that's based on, but you often have step climbs in reality. Minimum block fuel is 6.6. Now, because there's quite a few thunderstorms around on the initial departure route, if it was real life, I'd probably typically take an extra 15 minutes what we're actually going to take is an extra 1,200 kilos, which is an extra 30 minutes of fuel on top of this. So we'll call that 7. Well, we'll call it 7.8. The reason I say 7.8 tons because that's exactly what the full wings are. 3.9 tons in each wing there. Another donation coming in straight through. Whatever you would call it, Streamlabs. It's from 86 Aberdale. Good evening, Captain. Regarding pilot courses, if you're happy to answer, how did you secure a loan for your pilot course and keep up your repayments while studying full-time? Also, how did you cover living expenses? Coming in with £10 to answer that question as well. Well, thank you very much for the donation there. How did I do it then? Well, I had to work initially quite hard after school, as a lot of people I keep say, just getting as much money saved as possible for living expenses. The rest, my parents were very willing. Well, I say my parents, my uncle and my mother helped get a loan secured from the flight training school, which had a relationship with a bank, the BBVA bank in Spain, and they give you a loan and secure it against your house. I'll just get to that donation as well in a second. Once that had been completed, I only had to start paying the loan off a year after I finished my flight training, which is quite cool. So you finish your flight training, you don't have to pay your loan back. And also, when I got my first job, if they have... You know you're going to get the job. The BBVA, the bank at the time I had my loan with, would extend your loan and also pay for your type rating. Well, I say pay for it, you'd pay for it via the loan. Which meant that when I finished flight training at my first job, I was saddled with nearly a six-figure salary of debt. It was very tough. My first few years was, without much disposable income, but I was doing what I was doing, and the money, I get paid reasonably well. I live very cheaply, and I managed to pay off pretty much all of that loan as of reasonably recently. So yeah, that's how I did it. Thank you very much for the donation. I hope for any of you who are aspiring pilots, I was certainly in no financial position to do it, and there are ways of doing it if you look online. Steve Glenister came in with £10 donation. Thank you very much as well. Just because it's a Friday, have a safe flight. Well, thank you very much there as well. Awesome. So, yeah, let's not... I got a message from someone the other day saying, "Oh, why do you keep getting donations and stuff? It gets distracting." Well, it's just a way of people, to give back for all the amount of work I put in. I put literally thousands of hours making tutorials in here, and I will always say thanks to anyone that does donate. But I'll try not to get too distracted for you guys. All right, so from Brain, we're going to be going on the Yankee 200, Yankee 200 to Hotel Lima Zulu. Ah, my goodness me. I was going to say. Let's just see who that was. Hotel Lima Zulu, it's hold sign. We've got Lesgreb coming with £4.48. Thank you. Greetings from Austria, and thanks for your videos. Helped a lot, by the way. Prevent thunderstorm when CB reported is an option in active sky. You can select or deselect. You are... wow, that is very good. I'll look into that very shortly. Thank you very much. Whilst doing that, I'm just going to say thanks to Henrik as well. It's just €82. I can't thank you enough for your helpful videos. Well, thank you very much, Aviation by Henrik. You're most welcome. I really enjoy providing some meaningful information back to what I was essentially doing 10 years ago, which was hardcore flight simming. And now I managed to get to do both, and I still enjoy simming just as much as I do flying the real aircraft. Right, anyway, from Gorlo, direct Lambourne, direct to Hemel. These are all waypoints around the London area, very familiar to me. And then we're going to take the Tango 420 to Welwyn, and then it's the Piggott 1 Juliet into East Midlands, which is the pretty much the only arrival they do for flights from the south. So you've got ILS 27, Piggott 1 Juliet, activate execute. We'll tidy up the FMC later as well. Kim, who's another member of mine, €5. Here's another annoying little distraction. Enjoy the stream. Kim, thank you very much, my man. Very, very generous. Snapshot saying every donation is extremely deserved, in my opinion. Yeah, that's very kind. I've got Brian Kruger coming with 27. £85. Guys, when we meet up eventually, especially my Discord members, I owe you all several drinks. The rounds will be on me. Brian Kruger, do you think Jack brings you a squeaky toy because it's his favourite toy or because he thinks it's your favourite toy? What a question. Jack, my partner, she spoils the dog immensely, and he literally has a box full of toys. There must be in excess of 20, of which half of them do squeak, and they're extremely annoying when he brings them up here, because he does squeak them quite loudly. He's like a lab, he likes to chew as well. But he doesn't have a particular favourite toy. He seems to... Well, he has one. We went to Dubai about 3 years ago, and we bought a bear for Jack, and we call him Arab Bear, or Arab Bear. So that's really, really Well, a very sidetracked story, but that's what we do. But thank you very much there. And just before I get started again, I've got Jose Aterio coming with $10. You won the ZIBO. I don't know what you mean by that, but yes, I do provide a lot of feedback into the ZIBO mod as well. Christ, guys, I'm so sorry for those of you who are just interested in watching what I'm doing. The generosity today is, again, unbelievably... I might as well just quit what I do and just stream all the time, but then I'd lose my sort of niche, which is an airline captain spending his spare time playing flight sim. Right, reserves, they're going to be the sum of these two. Final reserves and alternate 953, that's 2 tons. Cost index we're going to use is 30 today. Cruising initially then, as you remember, at flight level 360, which we can execute up onto the upper overhead panel then, and we can whack in flight level 360 here. The elevation in East Midlands is around, I think it's 306 feet, if I remember rightly, so I'll punch in 300 here for the land altitude. So that's that. Cruise wind. Let's go into the flight plan and find the first waypoint after flight level 260. Stuart Walsh, another one of my members. £5. If we keep donating, will we ever get to engine start, Love Heart? I don't think so. At this rate, we'll be doing the engine start at midnight. And another thing as well, I think I've got a nuclear reactor in my office. It's absolutely roasting in here, as per usual. I'll either die of exhaustion from saying thanks or from the immense heat in here. Unbelievable, guys. Right, cruise level. I've completely gone off the rockers here. 360. Right, actually, where is 360? It seems to be there. 360. Top of descent. That's a bit interesting. Well, it says that the top of climb there is 319 at 74. That's right. Let's go for 280, 360, then back down to 280 again. I'm not sure what the flight plan's doing there, but we're going to put in. I reckon it'll be something in between this, so 320 at 50. I'm not sure, I think that's just the spacing between the waypoints of the flight plan, why it's not really generating much of a cruise phase there. Top of climb then, it says it's going to be -9, -6, let's go somewhere in between -7. Right, let's now look at the weather in Berlin Tegel as well. It's showing right now a few towering cumulus, 20 degrees, and my man who donated me says I can turn off thunderstorms with towering cumulus, which I will try and actually do when we're doing the engine start here. We're going to use flap 5 for departure. Oh, what was the performance? Sorry, I've actually loaded the OPT, sorry, and that says for wet speed, 24k for runway 26 left. It's saying full 24k 94.7. That will vary slightly because we don't have the AP bleed on, and we can take an assumed temperature of 33 degrees. We'll put that in too. And then flap 5, the wet speed. Actually, these are wet speeds, so if you select wet, you can see we have a different V1 here, 134, 142 and 149. That just gives you a little bit of extra distance to enter a V1. And we can set V2 up here, which is 149 knots. Oh, that took some time, but we have the FMC loaded. Alfie Douglas coming in with a membership. Thank you very much for your membership. Welcome to the channel as well, and to the private members only Discord, which you'll be joining very shortly. I've got £1.59 coming in from Walter. Hello, quick question. Would you prefer PMDG or ZIBO? What are the advantages for both? Well, that will take me some time to answer quite in a detailed manner, but the reason I switched to ZIBO was A, I was invited to the project and I was quite excited by what it had to offer. Secondly, it offers a much superior flight model. The PMDG, don't get me wrong, is a fantastic add-on from a systems point of view. You'll have lots of benefit from training from that. But for me, the ZIBO mod is number 1, the best handling. Number 2, all the systems work far more realistically. Oh my god, guys! And that's why I switched there. So yeah, thank you very much for the donation there. Snapshot 355. Now, for those of you who don't know, he's a member of mine, and he's also in the Air Force flying the Sentinel Embraer. So if you have any questions, direct them to Snapshot 355. He'll be able to help as well. He's come in with €10. So I feel like joining with the donation spree. YouTube still insist on paying me in euros for some reason. It was probably, I don't know where you are at the moment. You're probably there. But thank you nonetheless. I've got Jose's coming in with another donation, $10 through Super Chat. Did you turn your flats packs on? Lol. I'm missing that there. I'm missing that there. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Flats packs. You might have to come back to me on that one. My goodness me. Sleepy Lab. Yes, you may have to change your title to Sim to Flight Deck. Absolutely. You're going the wrong way here. Wow, unbelievable. How long have you streamed here? 22 minutes? I've usually done this. Oh my goodness me. Right, FMC is loaded up onto the upper overhead panel. Your damper on. Good job I didn't start the APU already. I think I would have run out of fuel. That's all good. Panel on here. We'll bump up the panel lights as well. Window heat can pop on as well. Electric hydraulic pumps I've turned on already. Again, that's for the pilot monitoring. He'll be doing the walk around looking for any leaks. Air conditioning packs to auto. Isolation valve open. APU bleed is off. We set the pressurization mode selector. It is all good. Steady here. MCP then. Right, now let's have a look at the SID we're flying. It's a Brain 2 Echo, which I already pre-selected on the departure. My goodness, I'm not even showing you where we are. So we're on stand 12 here, Terminal A. We can expect pushback face northwest, then a left onto Papa Whiskey or Papa Mike, and then we're going to go on to Sierra Mike. Taxi all the way, and we'll go full length departure for runway 26 left from Sierra Echo. Noah Featherson is coming with $4.99. Might be a stupid question, but I noticed when you turn the fuel pumps on when engines are on, nothing happens. Is that just a ZIBO thing? No, that's just part of the real aircraft now. The engines can run without the fuel pumps on. They have a way of suction feeding from the tanks there. However, at high altitude, they don't have sufficient pressure to really keep the engines running. So if you have the fuel pumps fail, both the forward and aft, there's a very high risk of an engine flame out at high altitude. So the fuel pumps boost the pressure, force the fuel into the down the HMU and all the fuel line to ensure the engines run. But on the ground, no, the engines should work without the fuel pumps on, but they are required to be on. But yes, thank you very much for the donation. Right, so yeah, I'm showing you the taxi routing. Now here comes the SID. Here is the Brain, what did we say we're doing? The Brain 2 November. Fantastic naming, SID. Tom coming in with 15 Norwegian Kroner. Thank you. Can you please explain how to decide what auto brake to use depending on runway length and conditions? I did get your message on Facebook as well, Tom. I will get back to that very shortly. Essentially, we use something called brake to vacate. You set your auto brake setting to make the exit you want as per your reverse as well. But I will discuss that as we fly into East Midlands. Again, thank you very much for the donation, Tom. Right, so nice simple departure for us. Runway 26 left. It's straight ahead to Tegel West, which is 392, so we can tune that on the ADF panel. 392. There we go. And select ADF here, which is there and there. And then it's essentially carry on going in a straight line towards Brain. It's an RNAV SID by the looks of it, so there's no real frequency A's to tune in the form of VOR here. It says remain on tower frequency until passing 2,000 feet, then you automatically contact Brain radar. SIDs and noise abatement. Yeah, it's noise abatement departure procedure 1 here, as we're going to depart on our way to the west here, so we'll bug up at 3,000 feet. And yeah, as I said, the routing very, very simple today. Oh, actually no, if you look, it does say radial 258 from Brain, so we'll stick that up there. I thought it was an RNAV SID. The other departure I was looking at for the other runway was RNAV. But anyway, 258 and 258, and the course is set as well, and the runway heading 2582. Awesome, that's all set as well. I think it's the runway heading 258. Oh, it's 259, slightly different. 259, and the VOR on the SID actually was based off Tegel 112.3, I think it said. Yes, 112.3. Oh, it's already active. Fantastic. There we go. I did see a question that caught my eye. The Outbox. Have you ever flown to East Midlands whilst Download Festival is on? I have, actually. I have. And it often takes you a long time to finish get away from home from work. But I haven't flown into East Midlands for a number of months now. But yes, I have. For those of you who don't know, the Download Festival is a huge music festival right outside East Midlands Airport, the Donington Race Park there. Hundreds of thousands of people go. They have all the big metal bands there. So it's all pretty cool. Oh, my partner's just texted me. She's in Greece at the moment on a turnaround, so she's on her way back. She's not going to get myself a nice tea during the stream today. I'll have to get Jack to make it. Right, so FCP's all loaded. Order brake to RTO. I think I've discussed everything today. Reset, and the rest is all looking good down here. Right, so now I need to see if there's any ATC here in VATSIM. There was some on the VATSIM traffic. Wow, there's loads of ATC. We should get some coverage. Oh yes, there is. We've got Tegel Tower online. So the frequency is 124520. Just double check that here. There it is. I've got ground, sorry, as well. Tegel ground. And there's an ATIS. 121750. I won't bother getting the ATIS unofficially, just to get the ball rolling here. 121. 1250, and I said we were due out in 3 minutes, so as soon as we've done that we'll get the APU started as well. The passengers must be getting a little bit annoyed because we should have departed by now. Right, so I think that's the correct frequency. 121750. What did I just put? I'm not even concentrating. 121750. There we go. I need to get one of these hardware. You get a hardware radio pedestal tuning panel, so you can tune all the frequencies whilst you're doing that. James and Pete, will you be watching the F1 this weekend? I land. I'm flying on Sunday. I land at midday, and I'll be rushing back very quickly to the house I rent at my outer base location to be able to watch that there. Right, let's get the clearance from Tegel ground. All right, and hopefully no more donations whilst I'm talking on the radio. Tegel ground, very good evening. Broadsword 01, we're on stand 12, and request departure clearance to East Midlands, please.
Broadsword 01, Tegel ground, hello. Information Kilo is currently started approved, clear to East Midlands via Berlin to November, departure climb 4,000 feet, flight cruise squawk 1,000.
Clear to East Midlands on the Brown to November, climb 4,000 feet, squawk 1,000, Broadsword 01. We're ready for engine start in 5 minutes. Alright, get the APU up and running.
Broadsword 01, very correct.
Perfect, so 4,000 feet, so we can set that on the MCP altitude as a hard altitude, and a squawk of 1,000 is now set on the transponder. It's a German thing. The Germans often give you round numbered squawks. I've had a few from Berlin before, so interesting. Perfect. Right, so whilst the APU is starting, what else did I forget to do? Flight directors, look, they should be on. The rest should be set as well. So yeah, obviously you should do all the briefings with the first officer, check the routing,
713 Papa Golf.
Make sure you're happy.
Very good evening. 713 Papa.
At B9.1, why are you getting so many donations in the cockpit? We're going to be late. I don't know. People are just crazy. Like I said, I'll always have free content.
Again,
you don't have to donate if you don't want to. It's just people who are very kind to like the work I do, I guess.
Good evening, Tegel. I'm requesting
right, APU's on the bus.
Close traffic.
GPU's are automatically connected with the air bridge, so we're all good here. Perfect. Right, so usually wait for the APU bleed, but we are, I think, ready to go now, so we'll get push and start very shortly.
Temperature 20, dew point 14.
And tower was 124520.
Roger that. Can we request traffic pattern?
525, there we go. That's for the dual bleed. And we should just check, yeah, Brayton to November. Well, he said Brand, maybe I'm mispronouncing that. Jose, we're donating for the petrol, yeah, the virtual fuel. Fantastic. Right, actually, whilst we're waiting for him, I did pre-plan the better pushback just prior to the stream, so better pushback. Pre-plan, there it is.
Ground
to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
Oh yeah, I'm
He's German.
requesting a traffic pattern.
Request pushback, there we go.
Ground to cockpit. Toes driving up.
Kim, coming in with €5 now as well. Again, calling us crazy now, are we? You're probably right. We're all crazy, including me. Oh my goodness, Kim, thank you again. Oh dear.
50, 40, 30.
Unbelievable. Right, there's the tug. As soon as he's connected and pushed us up, we'll request push and start with ground. He's already requested for engine start. Some airports you go to in Europe, they often, you can get your start and pushback clearance at the same time, so you sometimes get your clearance. Barcelona is one of them. You get your clearance, they clear you to the engine start, but they don't actually clear you for the pushback. That you must coordinate with ground. Perfect. HD simulation. What's up, Captain? Love the Berlin scenery by Aerosoft.
Okay. All doors and hatches are
really,
closed.
really good.
Ready to connect.
Let's have a look around whilst he is
713 Papa Golf requesting.
connecting. So yeah, this is from Aerosoft. Really, really good looking. Never been to Tegel before, but you've got some hangars here. British Airways on the front, apparently. Old British Airways. So, yeah, really quite good. I don't know how much I bought it from. It was from Steam via Aerosoft there.
Taxi to runway 26 via physical via Sierra Mike, Sierra what again?
Cool.
Sierra
Jet noise mode 1000 due to mode S equipped aircraft saves codes for non-mode squawk Sierra aircraft.
Oh yes, I can do that.
Right, so we'll request push and start now from our man in ground.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
You just wait there, my friend. And take on ground.
Papa Golf. Taxi Sierra Mike.
Stepped on some of the...
Taxi Protection Tango Romeo via Sierra Mike.
Marcel, greetings from Berlin arrival. Enjoying your flight. Talk to you in a
On
couple
the
of
way,
minutes on your
26,
departure. Well,
left
thank you very
via
much,
Sierra
Marcel.
Mike. 3 Papa Golf.
Take off ground. Broadsword 0 on stand 12. Request push and start.
Broadsword 0 on, push approved, facing south.
Push approved, face south. Broadsword 01. Facing south.
50, 40,
Interesting.
30,
Just double check something
20,
there.
10.
Just before I check for that donation. Facing south? Are we going via this way then? Alright, fair enough. Papa Whiskey, Papa Echo. Let me just change that round. I didn't even know there was a taxiway down that way. So, let's hope we can change this. Better pushback. Pre-plan.
Can start planner. Pushback already in progress.
Oh no, I'm gonna...
Please stop the pushback operation first.
Okay, terminate then.
Can start
Disconnecting
planner.
tow. Stand by.
Pushback already in
Oh
progress.
dear, I'm gonna have to really
Please stop the pushback operation
shush!
first.
I'm really upset. Better push back. I'd probably tell them in reality. I wasn't expecting to push in that direction, so I should have listened and got the clearance first.
Can start planner. Pushback already in progress.
I didn't,
Please stop the pushback
Why do they?
operation
I'm just gonna have to
first.
lower me down. Oh, this is not good. Why can't I just change it very quickly? Okay, disconnect and hand signals. Right,
Can start
oh my
planner.
gosh.
Pushback already in progress. Please stop the pushback operation first.
Okay. So I have to completely wait. I'll just tell him there'll be a slight delay for the pushback, guys. Ground broadsword 01. There's going to be a slight delay for the pushback. We're just going to turn the direction round for the tug. We'll be ready in a couple of minutes.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. I'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
In fact, I don't know if he said pushback cancelled, but I'll request it again anyway, very shortly. So,
Can start
oh
planner.
my goodness, you're
Pushback already in
I
progress.
hope it
Please
does
stop
work
the
again.
pushback operation first.
I have. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's gone very quiet. I can barely hear him. So is that when? How do I know when that's ready again?
last station
So-
calling.
Can start
station
Oh
planner.
my goodness me.
Pushback already in progress.
Oh, he's
Please
showed me
stop
the
the
bypass
pushback
pin. Oh,
operation
well,
first.
thanks, but no thanks. Oh, good, Jesus. Tim Raz, I had the exact same problem regarding pushback. Well, now we know for next time, both of us, that we have to ask entity first in this case. Entity South missed the first 30 minutes, sadly. We haven't missed much apart from people's incredible generosity. From a learning point of view, nothing been there. Oh, be patient, Kim, as you said. I know. Right, let's try again. Here we go. Here we go. There we go.
20,
Oh my goodness, and I've had a couple of donations I think I missed as well. Stand by, guys. So pre-plan, delete segment. There we go. Yay! Right, enter.
On to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
I'm ready. Request pushback. Right, let's just have a look. 'Cause I think I've missed a couple of donations
On to
here.
cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Right, Kim, I got yours. Woody Seal Binder, sorry, $5 through Super Chat. You always do streams on days I've had to call off real life flights. Last stream it was too windy, and today it was a dead right mag. Alright, well, thank you very much, Woody. I'm sorry that you had to go to work, but at least you can probably see this bit. I don't know, but thank you very much for the donation. Sleeper Dad donated $10 as well through Super Chat. Look out for the EasyJet behind you. Let's have a look. I don't know if he's probably gone since you've donated, but no, it looks like he is gone for now, and it looks like the better pushback is ready again. No, thank you very much nonetheless for the donation. Perfect.
Ryanair 1 Alpha Bravo, stand by.
T-Ball, he was ready when the car's got away, as he had gone away.
1 before, decimal 52,
I
bye-bye.
had a good look at the chart earlier, and I was thinking it could be only...
Okay. All doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Set parking brake.
Oh yes, set parking brake is set. So yeah, I didn't realise there's a sneaky little taxiway here to the south via Papa Whiskey. So yeah, that's really interesting design. Must be the way direction they do things here as well. And look here comes the rain again, just in time for departure. Now, whilst that's doing that, I can actually go into the
Ryanair 1 Alpha Bravo, go ahead.
active sky settings and turn off that CB thing.
Ryanair 1 Alpha Bravo,
Oh goodness, where is this going to be? General options.
Ryanair 1 Alpha Bravo information. Kilo
Prevents
is
thunderstorms when CB
correction.
reported. I've ticked it. Apply changes to current weather.
Now connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
1000.
Yeah, it looks like it stopped the rain as well. That's a little bit more realistic. Right, we're now fully ready to request push and start again. And take our ground, broadsword 01. Now fully ready, request push and start. Oh, I think someone just stepped on me as well.
Broadsword 01, push approved, facing south.
Push approved, facing south, broadsword 01. Parking brake released. Let's go below the line as well. Air conditioning packs off, anti-collision light is
Starting
on.
pushback, and you may start the engine.
Transponder out. Hello. Someone's saying good evening to you. There we go, look at that. It sounds like a school recess bell when the bridge goes away. And after 38 minutes, we're finally on our way. Thank you all very much for your patience. I'll put the delay code on extreme generous donations on the stream. I'm saying, guys. Thanks a lot to Cecilia. That's what we'll name our number one today. Shutting the door.
Right now,
right now, let's start engine number 2. Move that switch to ground.
We're also ready to push and start.
End 2 is rotating. Awesome.
Right now, 1 Alpha Bravo, stand by, push in about...
Brian Cricket would have been a pain if he told us to face north. Yeah, it would have been a massive pain. Awesome. Yeah, so we'll have a big chat about ZIBO MOD and some of the changes that he wants to implement. I want to try and provide feedback on mostly FMC there. Right, N2's over 25% already. Starting cut out, spar valve closed. There we go, EGT's increasing quite nicely.
Contact tower 124.524 departure, bye bye.
Cool, and get the taxi chart out.
Tower 124.520, have a good day.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Actually, we'll probably want this one. So a little bit... well, no, this one's a little bit more detailed for the initial part of the taxi. So, starter cut out. Monster engine number 2. 24632 is stable. Starting engine number 1. Feet rotate. Come on, guys. 467 watching and still only 130 likes. Smash the like button. Absolutely. Gives us a thumbs up. No. Are we facing south? Yes. What? No. Hold on. I think we're facing the wrong direction here, aren't we?
Operation complete. Please set
oh no, we are
brakes.
facing south. Sorry, I'm getting all confused. Because I'm looking at that. Well, not. It is southeast. Yeah, I was thinking more than 80 there. It's all over the place. Definitely facing the wrong. Definitely facing the right direction. Starting right. 25% monitoring engine. Number 2. Starting with idle D10. I was getting all a bit flustered there because I didn't want to upset the control, and I thought the better pushback was pushing me in the wrong direction again. That would have been embarrassing, having waited all that time. There we go, starter cut out, monitor engine number 1, 24631 is stable, and we can disconnect, finally, the bypass pin and the headset. And we'll do the before taxi flow now whilst he's disconnecting. So generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, probe on, auto, APU bleed off, the rest is all set. Flaps 5 for departure, as always. Flight controls.
Tower is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. And signal on the left. Right. I'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Yes, Auf Wiedersehen, as they say in Germany. Right, and now the rudders are working, thank goodness. For left and right. Push recall, and then we would read the before taxi checklist, which is on top of the glare shield, very conveniently located. Which obviously in the streams I don't do, but we do every single taxi. Right, so let's request taxi now. We're all fully ready. He's shown us the bypass pin for the second time. You can go and enjoy your evening break. Let's get going, guys. Broadsword 01, request taxi.
Broadsword 01, taxi holding point runway 26 left via Papa Whiskey, Papa Echo, Sierra Echo.
Taxi 26 left via Papa Whiskey, Papa Echo, Sierra Echo, Broadsword 01. So, pretty much the only way we can go. Papa Whiskey, Papa Echo, Sierra Echo, and then the holding point is just here on the parallel taxiway. So a bit of a threat there. You don't want to be waiting a beam. You want to wait until you are right before that line. You don't want to ever have a runway incursion. Right, turn off and taxi lights on. Let's do the config check. Good, no takeoff configuration warning horn. We're all correctly configured. Let's finally get on our way to East Midlands Airport. 35% is usually more than enough breakaway thrust, up to 40% if you're a little bit stuck in a rut or going uphill just to break the inertia. Auto MC, can you bring your field of view back further so we can see a bit more? I won't right now because I kind of have it set to exactly how I like it right now, which is being able to see the PFD and ND because they don't pop up in the mod, and pretty much
Alpha Bravo pushback
everyone can see out the runway. Otherwise it could get quite small for people watching on their phone as well, so it could be an issue.
Pushback pre-face though, right, 1 Alpha Bravo.
Awesome. I love it when we have some ATC as well. Just gives that little bit of extra immersion, and like I said, in between all the donations and the incredible generosity, I'm still absolutely doing as I do every single day on the line, flying those 2 or 4 sector days. I do precisely what I'm doing right now in the stream. Awesome. Well, it might be dark by the time I get to East Midlands. I think the sunset in the UK around that area is going to be about 9:30ish. It's about an hour and a half flight time. It's now, might get a nice sunset approach. Hopefully, a little bit of light still. Yes, Sog Watchman. 43 minutes streaming. We finally start rolling. Yeah, we might as well have set up Concorde in that time. Yeah, I know. It's all those guys saying thanks. Very, very generous. So it's like we're on the back roads of the airport here. Oh my goodness me. Fiat 500. Oh, he's just merged into the taxiway. So I make a left turn and enter the airport roads, like all the German style cars. I think I just saw BMW there as well. Very nice. Cool. So we'll monitor the progress of ourselves and going on to the Papa Echo taxiway, which makes a left turn here, and then we'll very shortly do the before takeoff checklist. Look at that, big jumbo BA 747, that's cool. I think more and more people use X-Plane 11 now than before. I remember when I started streaming and doing a flight on VATSIM, all the aircraft were kind of like below the scenery, but I see more and more aircraft kind of like correctly depicted on the height, which I think tells me that they're using X-Plane 11, which is pretty cool. Petter will fly, be careful. Is the weather radar working in ZIBO? Yeah, it very kind of looks at the weather in active sky and does depict something on the ND, which is quite cool. But it's very basic compared to how the real weather radar system works. But there is, as far as simming goes, a working weather radar. Kim, my cockpit is anything but sterile. He does never stop talking, no. But it would be much of a tutorial or an insight if I was just completely silent. Yes, this is the least sterile cockpit airline in the world of flight deck to sim airlines. Constantly natting on. Excellent. So we're coming up here.
Berlin Tegel ground.
I thought that was a cow on the radio. So yeah, we're coming up here. Make sure you don't carry on straight because you'll enter the runway, make a right turn onto Sierra Echo very shortly.
Brakes, Rockford 01, contact tower 124, decimal 525, have a nice flight, goodbye.
Tower 124-525 broadsword 0, thanks for service now, bye. Perfect, so he's told us to transfer to tower, and we'll make a right turn here onto Sierra Echo.
Lufthansa 431, go ahead.
There we go. And
Squawking Mo Charlie,
we'll try and guess the next frequency
we're going to be doing traffic, and when it's time to land, can we request touch and go?
Touch and go at Berlin Tegel.
Yeah, if you're lucky, into touch and go.
I guess on VATSIM, anything goes. Right, so I'm just looking at the VATSIM map just to get the airborne frequency, which will lower my workload.
And in 7 months, we pop off after touch and go, trying right traffic circle is runway 265, wind variable.
You guys might be able to find the frequency, airborne frequency, before I do.
Clear touch and go, runway 268, 3 pop off.
And we'll get to the whole point where we do the before takeoff checklist. It is centre it's approach frequency as well. So Marcel, he's already mentioned 119620. Start braking as well. Here comes another donation.
20.
Goodness. So that should be the airborne frequency, and it's coming in via Streamlabs. It didn't pop up on my here. Passenger Escobar donated £7.96. Thank you very much. Definitely not a sterile cockpit. You even have passengers up here. Yeah, the flight deck door is open. All passengers can see what's going on. Thank you very much for the donation. Passenger Escobar. Very aptly named. Right, we're just going to bring it to a halt there at the whole point. Quickly do the before takeoff checklist before we get going. So config we checked. Flaps we have 5, green light for departure. Stab trim, as I said, I barely set it in the mod. It's set for departure as well. Takeoff briefing, packs are auto, bleeds on, the V-speeds for departure are set. We have 134, 142, 149, and I forgot to blank the lower DU. Our departure is the Brain 2 November, climbing straight ahead.
Base final.
Overhead is Romeo Whiskey, and then it's on the 260 radial to Brain, or 258 radial, which is all pre-selected. Any DP1 departure, any problems will climb straight ahead to the MSA, which is 2,400, so we'll go to 3,000 feet. And we'll imagine the cabin is secure as well. And we are now fully ready for departure. I'll check in with Tower. Tegel Tower, very good evening. It's broadsword 01, holding point Sierra Echo 26 left, ready for departure.
Broadsword 01, Tegel Tower, wonderful, good evening, line 26 left and wait.
Line up and wait 26 left, broadsword 01. So we've been cleared to line up and wait only, so what we do, we turn the taxi light off to remind us we haven't got our takeoff clearance, pop the strobes on, LNAV, auto throttle, pop the weather radar on, transponder to TARA. So MCP is set, transponder TARA, strobe lights are on, we'll pop the logo light on, it's getting a little darker now, and we're just holding for our clearance, and we'll pop the taxi light on as well. Awesome, so realistic. Desktop Simulator is really amazing. Kim, €125 takeoff fee for a 738. Is that real life? My donations, I have no idea. Cool.
Approaching 26 left.
So RAS confirms on the correct runway, 26 left. Oh, look at the sun setting. Yeah, the sun will definitely have set by the time we get to East Midlands, I think. We're chasing the sun, that's it, because we're flying west, so the sunset will be a lot slower than it would be, say, if you were watching it on the ground there. Yes, Ruben, cabin crew at your stations, cabin crew seats for departure. There we go.
On runway 26
So looking for 259 left. On the track, that means you're facing the right direction, although that doesn't seem to be quite aligned. Ooh, I need to turn off the shake thing. There we go. There we go. Awesome. We're just waiting for the takeoff clearance now. First Officer Shammy, Flight Deck Sim, have you had issues with duct pressure on the mod lately? No, I have seen some reported issues, but I've not had any. Well, we'll have a look. Last time I flew the mod was when we last streamed. I haven't had any chance to test it.
Broadsword 01, variable to North runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff traffic information, VFR traffic at Northern Airfield.
Road 26 left, cleared to take off, copy information, broadsword 01. Excellent, let's go, taxi light on, checks complete, and now let's start the timer.
713, Papa, hold
right,
at
40%.
On runway 26
Thanks again, Russ.
left. On
say again,
runway 26
stabilise,
left.
set, takeoff thrust, looking for 93.6%. Go. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. That's checked. We've still got wet speeds in the FMC, so you see how the V1 and VR speeds are stagnant. We'll still rotate at the later speed.
V1.
So V1, hand off the thrust lever.
Rotate.
Rotate 2 to 2.5 degrees per second. And we are now airborne up to the flight directors.
Left orbit, 713 Papa Golf.
And onto the flight director. Slight right turn and trim. And we're going to maintain this attitude until 3,000 feet. It's an NADP 1 at departure.
400.
Verify LNAV. Oh, there's the aircraft on traffic patterns behind us all. Awesome. Look at that. That looks amazing. Wicked. Oh, onto the flight directors. I've got a TA here, traffic. So 1,000 feet, we can engage the autopilot now. Command 8, we won't do anything yet. We're just going to maintain this kind of attitude, noise 1, just to keep climbing, get above the noise sensitive area. Climbing to 4,000 feet. Awesome, look at the sun that's setting. So when you have a low stop altitude like
101, contact Bremen 119 bye-bye.
119 625 broadsword 01 juice. Right, 119 625. So yeah, we can now.
255.
Let's just concentrate on the level off here. So when we get to elevation plus 3,000 feet for noise 1, we bug up. We're climbing to an altitude, so we don't want to set standard. So we bug up now. Let's concentrate on the flap retraction. We'll get the flaps up, level off at 4,000. And as an SOP at our airline, we can't actually select vertical speed to reduce your rate of climb whilst retracting the flaps, just because there's a chance that vertical speed might be very high and you have no direct speed control, so your speed can actually wash up quite quickly. Entering some cloud, 18 degrees, so we don't need to worry about the engine anti-ice at this temperature. And we can select flap 1. There's outer quiet, verify we've bugged up, flaps up selected, and we'll check in now with departures. Tim, 10 quid again, man. Unbelievable. That's again you've done it anyway. Oh, Jesus. I'll have a word with you later. I don't even know. We're talking to Berlin, I think. Berlin radar. Good evening, broadsword 01. We're on the Brain 2 November, maintaining 4,000 feet.
Broadsword 01, Brain radar. Good evening, sir. You are identified to climb level 160 and passing 5,000 feet. Proceed direct Hotel Lima Zulu.
Okay, climb flight level 160 and passing 5,000 feet, direct Hotel Lima Zulu. Broadsword 0, thanks. Right, so 160 is set. VNAV immediately set standard because we're climbing to a flight level. Passing 41 for 160. We'll do the after takeoff checklist, but this is a typical clearance you'd get in real life. After reaching a certain height, maybe due to traffic on another departure, you get a direct. So we'll go to Hotel Lima Zulu at 5,000 feet. Well, we can push this to QNH so you know you're exactly 5,000. We can pre-select it as well. Hotel Lima Zulu. And as soon as you get there, execute, and we are on our way. Kim, it's Bremen radar. Sorry, Bremen radar. I could have guessed that. Actually, it did say that on the chart. My goodness me. Execute, LNAV available. Often get this using reserve fuel message. We've got an out constraint on the arrival. We'll look at that later. But we are not going to be using reserve fuel. We're arriving with a whopping 4.3 tons. And if you remember, our reserves were 2 tons. So I'm not sure why that message occasionally comes up there. Right, after takeoff checklist. Gear to up and off. Brake to off. Start switches to auto. Look at that lighting. Really nice. Air conditioning and pressurization 2.9. I've got the duct pressure, so there don't seem to be any issues, which my man was reporting a second ago. The temperatures are all set. And we verify we have the altimeters at standard set because we're climbing to a flight level. We push the attend button, which in our airline tells the cabin crew to jump out their seats and get on with selling their merchandise. Excellent. After takeoff checklist complete. What are we now? Nearly an hour into the stream, and we've only just got airborne. As you said, you've got the project flight information, but the FMC, which will be the most accurate, says we'll be touching down at 2023 Zulu, so 9:20 local time in the UK. So about an hour and a half now until we land in East Midlands Airport. Cara, greetings from Bremen. Hello to you as well. I really need a drink.
Alright, for uniform whiskey, thank you. Point runway 25 right via Foxtrot, Lima 5, Delta, and Lima 7, Romeo ready for departure.
There we go.
Foxtrot, Lima 5, Delta, Lima 7, call for pickup.
So, as we're climbing then, you're just really monitoring the flight path. We've got nice directs today all the way to London, as per the flight plan. And we're now approaching flight level 100. We can do the pre-cruise check. So, check the fuel 4 pumps on, and we can turn off all the forward-facing lights now. Logo light, we don't need on as well up here. Pressurization 4.2 psi, and set. Release the passengers. Really cool, and that's the pre-cruise checks complete.
Right, 255 radar, hello,
yeah, that's a question. In love with blue. Why is EDDT slightly higher on engine number 2? It's often the case in the real aircraft that both the engines are not the exact same age, so one burns a little hotter than the other. ZIBO's just kind of replicating that slightly, so you get ever so slightly different fuel burns, which is very true to the real aircraft.
Radar computing there.
Awesome. And there we are. We don't need the SID as we're here.
American 17 radar, hello,
identify. Get rid of all of those. Wicked.
Level 160.
Putus Banan, how do you make your aircraft position visible in the charts? You need a Navigraph subscription.
Control 201, contact Bremen radar 125.025. Have safe trips and greetings to the chest. Bye bye.
125025. Yeah, thanks for the message. Well, have a great evening. Ciao for now. Cool. 125025. Cool. So this was FIR Bremen radar. Cool. Yes, I was talking about the EGT and the engine different dead, so you're happy with that. That's usually why there's a slight difference, and I think that's what ZIBO is kind of replicating then. Radar, very good evening. Broadsword 01, climbing flight level 160 direct to Hotel Lima Zulu.
Alpha 01, Bremen radar identified, climb flight level 360.
Climb flight level 360, Broadsword 01. So that's our final cruise level. 360 set, and once we do that, so the SOP of ours, we just verify we have it set in the altitude window on the MCP and the FMC, so we'll be on the client page, there you go, and then we make sure we're monitoring the international distress frequency, which is 121.5 on box 2.
You're going to
Ferry de Fallis Lagan radar, thank you very much. So I've not flown into Berlin for well, no, I went to Schoenfeld at the beginning of the year. Well, no, did I? No, that was years ago, not recently.
Direct to empty filling flight level 2 LiDAR 0, Yoling
Dougal, keep on, love what you do, keep on keeping on. That's like Aviation Pro at ATC, oh cool, well, yeah, I've seen him, he's a Dutch guy, isn't he? He's actually going for his initial flight training, that's really cool.
Rock 330, contact Bremen radar 119, that's
There we go.
Bremen radar 119.
Lovely. It's just the sim is just gorgeous, isn't it? Really good. Better than a level D sim.
119, 62.
Perfect. Now I'm getting...
Never
understood what this is. I've seen this before. I don't know if it's if there's moisture in the air or something. Just part of the ski effects you get this. I don't know if it's streaming water or something. I forget that.
Bye bye.
So guys, the incredibly generous streams earlier, what you need to do is do it in the cruise when I have a lower workload, not during the setup. Guys don't have to, never have to donate really, but it's very generous earlier. Thank you. Aviation Pro, you're here. Thank you very much. That's not me. It was a Fatsu controller at Schiphol Ground years ago. They not only fly. Excellent. Well, I do occasionally see your videos. I don't seldom comment on many people's videos, but I wish you the best of luck with your flight training, because I think you're doing your foundation flight training with an airline. So
hello, 2472.
I lived with a couple of Dutch guys on my first base years ago. They were crazy. Tobias Lost, turn on the wiper to clear the water at the window. Oh, that's... usually do it at this speed or altitude. Oh, it does actually work though, yeah. I don't know what causes that, what the trigger is.
Another
donation coming in. Steve Mayer, another member of mine on the channel. £4.99, £5. Thank you very much. My boss thought I joined in. Well, Steve, unbelievable. No need at all. Thank you once again for your continued support and appreciation. It's really appreciated. Thanks, buddy. God, I owe everyone that donates, everyone, especially the members, because I find it very difficult to provide a kind of regular, because I can't stream frequently. These guys are supporting the channel and stuff, so I have the little members only Discord, and they get a bit more of a personal insight of my day-to-day job. So yeah, I don't expect any donations from any of those guys at all, really. George Carney, I think it's moisture or ice. Yeah, well, I mean, if it's raining heavily, you're usually going way too fast. You know, at this speed, I'll approach it. It begins there, but you know, it just streams straight off. You won't really get that there. Sleepy Lab coming with $5 there. Will the Innsbruck circuit approach any time come soon? Now, I have a list of requested airports, which is, well, in excess of 50 destinations now, of which Innsbruck has probably requested for the past year. I still have to practice that approach, and one of the reasons when I come home, I only get a few days off at a time. It's usually a lot easier to fly into airports such I have data for and information and charts and stuff, but I will go there. I will do Samos as well. Samos is the airport. Streaming in America, all these places too. But yeah, Innsbruck is somewhere I do need to go. But because I always use live weather, we need to wait for the weather to kind of favour the circling approach as well. But I do promise we will endeavour to go there at some point in the future.
Schönen Abend, Airline 53 Whiskey passing 189 inbound zone.
So, I'll show you where we are on routing. Before I show you on the map and try and explain to the airport. So we're just basically going westbound. I think we're going to head a little bit southwest-ish and then make a right turn. Essentially go towards London, then we'll make a right turn towards East Midlands. We'll keep monitoring that. Another donation coming in from Silvermain 1982. Who's donated £4.48. Hey, it's me, Ferry DeFoul, who's donated many times before. Did you look at those extended night lighting I've linked onto Facebook a few weeks ago? I did, but I didn't get around to installing the plugin because the day you sent that I had to go straight back to my base, I remember, but I still have the file downloaded. I haven't had a chance to install it there, but I will look into that. Thank you nonetheless for the donation to remind me of doing that stuff. I do try and limit the amount of add-ons and plugins I have because I have a very stable platform now, and as you well know if you've watched my streams from the start, I've never had the sim crash, not once, and I've heard of some plugins which can cause issues in the future, so I keep it to the kind of limited amount of plugins I have, but if it is such a fix, I will look into it. I think it does increase the brightness, as you say. Dougal, can you please turn down the AC a bit?
Good evening, Ryan. 5 PM, making a few available 370 just overhead on.
If I go here and to preferences, I've set it based on a fix because 100%. Audio. You see how it's above here? I had to go into the notepad to fiddle it because if it's set to 100%, it's too quiet, so you can't even hear it. So yeah, I kind of got it set to what I was told is quite good. So yeah, I'll try not to talk when he's talking, if you know what I mean. 2 donations coming in now. I've got Tough Bob who's coming with a tenner. Thank you very much. Love the stream and it's so great you give so much back to the sim community. I hope this gets you a bacon butty on your next drive to base, Tough Bob. Well, Tough Bob, I promise you, tomorrow I leave at midday. It's about a 5-hour drive to my 5-hour drive to my base. I will get just that, a bacon butty. Very generous, thank you. And 86. A bell coming in with £2 through Super Chat. Do you sim with random failures enabled? I don't. I have the failure system off. Because we flew into stats about a year ago and the engine failed on approach. We did manage to land it, no problem, but it was very difficult to deal with, and it was after 4 hours of streaming and the language was very colourful. We could turn it on maybe in the future.
30, 20, 10.
Perfect. Brendan, you're going to pop off now. Good luck with the rest of the stream. Thank you. And Fluke86, thank you, £2. Loving this stream, learning so much. Awesome. Thanks a lot for the £2 there, buddy. Appreciate that.
177 Bremen radar, hello, Squawk 24.
Garrett, maybe we can get V1 Sim and Airbus pilot US and Flight Sim European Boeing pilots do a shared copy. Yes, there is a Airbus pilot who, I don't know if he's a captain or FO, but he does some streams in the Airbus called V1 Simulations or something. Again, I've not contacted, or I don't ever contact anyone really. I just kind of keep myself in the streaming flight sim world. But yeah, that would be perhaps pretty cool in the future. Look at that! If you just come on top of the cloud there, it looks absolutely awesome. Absolutely fantastic. This is just default X-Plane 11, guys, with Active Sky. I think they have some cloud textures installed, but it looks phenomenal. It really looks good. Look at that. Wow. The purples are really good as well. You get this purpley blue hue. When the sun sets, there's quite a lot of overcast cloud around.
Bavarian 177 identified.
Snapshot coming in with another €5. I figured out why YouTube makes me pay in euros. The account is linked to my European card, not my British one. Well, now you've donated twice. With both cards. It's both €5 as well. Oh, didn't need to donate, so we can drop me a message on Discord, but nonetheless, thanks again, Snapshot. Oh dear. Right, so checking the FatSim map, we've got 80 coverage from Langen.
to go.
For quite a while. We lose it, and then we've got full London ATC this evening. Fantastic. At the moment, East Midlands approach online as well. So that's really cool. Hopefully, give you a kind of an insight of the vectors and stuff we'd get in reality going into East Midlands.
American 7, proceed direct to Kira.
Oh, V1 Simulations is here. Hello, would love to do a multi-crew with you. Captain, one leg Boeing, one leg Airbus. Awesome. Well, I think I'd struggle with the Airbus V1 Simulations because it's a very different concept to the Boeing, you know. Boeing stick of rudder, everything's where I know it is, and it's like anything if you know it's easy. I did promise the guys I'd do a stream in the Airbus, but I think I'd direct them towards your channel for the most accurate guidance. Mine will be an absolute mess, I think. Awesome, man.
Eine 1 Alpha Bravo, I'm flight level 360. Flight level 360.
Yeah, the big Boeing Airbus debate, especially with the MAX grounded.
Moving 81 Delta Kilo, direct Delta Tango 432.
So approaching 360, top climb just past Hotel Lima Zulu. Let's see how the fuel burn's going actually. The mod kind of
Delta Tango 432 and here's
Hotel Lima Zulu, so we should have burned now 1.6 tons of fuel. And used, there we look at that, exactly 1.6. The fuel burn here, and the flight model and drag model in the mod is just, well, it's precise to the real aircraft. It's second to none, really. A380-800, Tuesday I'll fly from Echo Delta Delta Lima to Hotel Echo Golf November. Now I'm trying to remember which Echo Delta Delta Lima is in Germany. Isn't that Dusseldorf? I don't know where Heggen is though. Absolutely no idea. That sounds like a long flight.
Good evening, Eagle 19.
I've never flown into Dusseldorf.
370 inbound and easy.
Flown to Hamburg, flown to Cologne.
Eagle 19
as well. So there's one to go. We're just monitoring the VNAV's rate of climb. 1400 feet per minute is acceptable.
1,000 to go.
Okay, 3209.
Am I the only one that can't hear over ATC yet? It's probably a little out, but let me know in the chat if I can fiddle with some of the volumes.
3209 up, Bremen radar identified, time flight level 310, and direct over, Golf, Oscar.
So, geographically, here we are. Pushing Hanover. Wolfsburg, so there's Bremen. Heggen is in Egypt. Hurghada. There we go. There we go. So going towards Osnabrück. So when I fly to new destinations en route, I try and have a look at a map, geographically. It's always nice to know where to go if something was to happen. For example, a medical emergency. Or something like that, so it's always good to know. ATC's a bit loud, boss. Okay, I'll have a look at that. I don't think I can change that without going into the notepad. And I can't remember how to do that off the top of my head because I haven't changed it for months. I'll try and fix that. Nicholas, 4 planes to run Vatsim map heading for East Midlands. Awesome. Oh man, I hope you're holding. Oh wow, look at that, we've got
Lufthansa 431 Bremen radar identified, flight level 240.
Most of them are Ryanair aircraft, not Broadsword 01 owns the route at this sector today. Oh my god, how busy it is on Vatsim tonight. Awesome. Tickle, turn your mic up, I will. I'll turn that up slightly up. There you go.
Volvo 1 hotel arrival and direct NASA to Canada 1670.
And I'll just turn down the background. I'm not an expert at this sort of audio mixing, I'm afraid. I'm not really actually a modest monitoring the radio, so I've not heard my call sign in ages.
Calling North Shuttle 412, continue descent to Unicom 122, that's late, sorry.
Aviation students, how are you today? I am very well, streaming this Friday evening. Jiggle, yes, much better, thanks. There we go. I've turned up the volume up to the max for the microphone. Yes, sorry guys, you probably couldn't hear me for quite a while. We have a private message from UAE13. Hello, hope you're having a nice flight. I'm enjoying the stream. Well, I hope you're having a safe flight as well. Thank you for the message. Michael D, are you flying to Greece next week? Caps logs. No, I'm not flying to Greece. I don't go into too much detail where I fly to, so usually provides more information than I'd like, but I often provide a bit of input in on the on the Instagram, try and put some stories up of where I'm flying over and stuff, some info as well. Timothy Waters coming in with £10. Thanks a lot, Tim. Only just joined, been in for tests, but great news today, so have a beer on me, Captain. Well, Tim, fantastic news. Tim is one of my Discord members as well, who's obviously got some very good news. I don't want to say what it is, Tim, feel free to, but I'm very glad you got the good news as well. Best of luck, and keep us posted online as well. Finley, how do you PM someone on VATSIM? Good question. I often get a lot of messages of guys saying hi and stuff, and I've done it before when I've had spammers, but I think you put their call sign in, the message, and then enter on the box here, but you'd find that online somewhere. Aviator Gamer, why you don't fly in the US? Well, main reason is Ortho 4XP. I have it all for Europe, and I don't have any for America, and it takes some time to download and install. Secondly, I have no experience flying this sort of aircraft there and of the airways and stuff. Now, it makes a huge difference, but you know, I do want to go over there as well. But thirdly, you know, Europe, I know the airspace really well, I know the destinations. I can give you the far more realistic experience as well. And I think there's a lot of American streamers out there providing all the info you need and stuff. But I will head over across the pond, and we'll do some flights very soon. Snapshot 355. I was literally on this airway 5 hours ago in real life. There you go. Oh, I have got a message. Oh no, I think you've just Rhino 1 Alpha Bravo, you've just transmitted basically to everyone on this frequency. Never mind. But I did get the message. .private, I think you have to put or something. Perfect. So I keep keeping good progress on our route. I should take a picture of my office. Really, I have my X-Plane 11 running on my main PC. I've got two iPads, my work iPad with the charts, my personal iPad which I use for the Streamlabs there. I've got my laptop with the chat open, and my phone. So I've got like, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different screens here. I look like I'm running a power station. my girlfriend finds it quite funny when she walks in and I'm streaming. I'm like, wow, what are all these screens? I'm like, so it all works there. Michael D, can you switch off the seatbelt sign? I need to go to the toilet, please. I think it's in auto already. You should be able to go there. I got a message from VSX5. I'm behind and underneath you. Too much lag. Ah, okay. Well, I hope you proceed safely en route. So, I think for you, the 80 is very loud, but for me it's very quiet because I play all my audio through the headset. I've got X-Plane 11 background noise and ATC. Donation coming in. Brian Kruger, £7.96. Thanks a lot, Brian. Have you ever changed your RTO calculation over the threshold if you notice or feel a bit of a float? No. The landing performance calculation is based on you being over the threshold at 50 feet, landing in the touchdown zone, speed brake deployment at the right time, and the RTO brake selection. So if you float considerably and you are performance limited and you've worked out using every bit of runway, you're going around. There's no ifs, no buts there, but it's usually plenty enough of performance to ensure that you can either override the brakes manually. But if I'm landing on a limiting runway where I'm having to use max auto and it's using up all the runway and I'm floating, I'll have pushed toga before we touch down. So yeah, never, should hopefully never be an issue with that.
Delta, Tango,
Finley, no problem at all.
Yep,
keep working it. I think if you look on the forum, you'll find out how to do messages. I don't know how to do it properly either because I don't often do it. But you'll find the guidance. Cool. So approaching the country of Amsterdam, nearly directly overhead
Cargo
Osnabrück.
223 Alpha, identified, proceed direct field, Echo Lima.
Perfect, Tim. Yeah, Tim. Yeah, I saw that you put on there. One second. We're all thinking about you, bud. Thanks for that. Keep us posted. Oh, Dougal, lost my PPL for a medical. That makes very sad. Well, I hope it's only a temporary thing or something, but don't get too bummed down. You know, it's always backup careers. You know, I always wanted to do something different. I always had like a lawyer route in the background. My mum used to always say I'd make a good lawyer because I used to fib a lot when I was a kid. So it's always a good background career. Sorry, Amsterdam is a city, not a country. Netherlands. Sorry. Derp. Look at the banter going in now. No.
Lufthansa 431. Lufthansa 431, you have busted your level, report level climbing.
Sorry, the country of Holland. I've just offended many of my Dutch friends.
Do you want higher than 240?
Keep unsub, unfollow. Oh, how could he be a captain? I've done a PA once where I actually said I was over there in the wrong country once. These things do happen.
Lufthansa 431, I'm unable to 50. I can offer you 240 or 260, and you have 5245, so I'm unable that.
Having a good old chit chat on the frequency. I kind of not heard what happened. Stuart Walsh, derp, absolutely.
Lufthansa 431, descent, flight level 240.
James Donling, Captain, do you get to choose your route, space, or seniority, or are they randomly assigned? At the airline I work for, they are randomly assigned. There's no bidding of sorts on these sectors. I think that's more akin to long-haul operations. Bright crew, you just didn't visit Amsterdam before the stream.
Scandinavian 1677, contact Berlin arrival 119er, decimal 62 rein. 119er, 625, 167.
Holland, Jody making it worse. Like the Netherlands. Oh, goodness me. Jacob Bell coming in with a £5 donation. Thank you. Greetings from Monterey, California. My sister lives in Derby. I absolutely love that area. Fantastic. Very, very good. Yes. 3 main cities around East Midlands. You've got Nottingham, Derby, Leicester. Kind of serves all of those 3 main cities. Loughborough as well isn't too far away. As I said, I've flown to East Midlands Airport many a time, but not in the last few months, regrettably.
Langenwälder, schönen guten Abend. Die Lufthansa 9 Papa Zulu inbound, Warburg
Right, gentlemen. Northern Zuid-Holland is the west, rest is in Holland. I need to look up a little bit more about the Netherlands. I don't know if it's offensive to say Holland or what. I have no idea.
Flight level 190, sorry for that.
Oh, it's so hot in this office as well. I'm quite excited, if I'm honest. I'm in shorts and in a white t-shirt, and I have my rudder pedals on, wearing Havaiana flip-flops, so... Awesome. We might get a frequency changed to Unicom soon. There's a little bit of gap before we get to London airspace, but we'll keep on going there. Westbound. Schiphol.
Uniform, Bravo, India, Golf, India.
Cool. Sorry, I'm getting a few messages here. Hello, smiley face from Rhino 1 Alpha Bravo. And I've got a message from somebody else. Sorry, wrong player. Oh, player, what goodness me. Gary, flying the Sim, do you have any aspirations, or do you think you'll ever want to upgrade from the 738 to a long haul jet? I quite like flying the 738. The long haul, for my personal lifestyle, doesn't suit me. I quite like being home on my days off with my partner, doing things and coming home. I'd love to say I've ticked the wide body box and say I've flown a 777 or a 380 or whatever, but it's just for, you know, I'm very fortunate to be where I am, and I enjoy my downtime off at home. And those boys spend a lot of time away from home down route sometimes, so yeah, not for me. But I do, I mean, at the moment I'm based away from home, so I actually spend more than half of my time away from home, but that is on a temporary basis. And I'm not too far, in a few hours drive, like 4 or 5 hours, so yeah, not for me at the moment. Burma, white t-shirts and flip-flops, what airline is that? Well, actually, in the Maldives, those guys wear flip-flops and t-shirts flying the those seaplanes. What is it? Is it the oh, what are they called? I've completely gone blank on them. But yes, they often wear that. Also, fly data sim airlines. They don't actually have a uniform. You can wear whatever you like.
Uniform available.
Anthony Deal, that's a patio. It's the clearest patio you'll ever see.
50, 40, 30, 20.
Also, another donation come in. I've got £1 from my friend from China. He often pops in here with donation. Thanks again. Appreciate that. Very, very kind. Jerry, hi mate, I've seen your private message on Instagram. Considering career on an airline pilot would be great if you get back to me. Love your work. Now, Jerry, I'll try to. At the moment, I have 87 requested messages on Instagram, which is phenomenal. Hundreds of comments and probably 24 Facebook messages. At the moment, it's getting quite difficult. Well, I say at the moment, I think it will be for the foreseeable future to get back to people on a personal basis. I will seek that and try and get back to you. I've got a few standbys next week to have a look at all the things.
Direct to where I will face Lima.
Direct to where? Cool, so we're approaching the halfway point.
November.
Descent's going to be on the hour, so in about 35 minutes from now.
Thank you.
Start selecting the charts anyway.
Lima, Bravo, uniform.
So Echo Golf November X-ray. And we're going to want arrival. Pick one Juliet. And then we're going to want approach would be the ILS-27, and then we want airport. Let's go for that one, and then the charts. Airport info, I think it's that one. Takeoff maps. No, not that one. Hockey centre coordinates with East and West apron, I think. No, that's where all the cargo boys go. So we want the central apron. There we go, so hopefully we'll park around there. Jerry, cheers mate, if you do it. Can't do no worries without your opinion. I'll have a look into it, mate. Probably not tomorrow, but I've got to stand by in a few days' time. I'm trying to get back to some of those messages I've had.
Sorry, was that the speed of 1
Gianni Gincarelli, sorry if I mispronounced that. How long did it take you to become an airline pilot? I mean, if you're talking about from when I started my formal flight training, about a year and a half, and a few years before that I did my PPL and I did gliding before that. So all in all, from when I started flying, 14 till end of 21, 22 when I was here, so you're talking 7 years, but a year and a half for the intensive getting your CPLIR really, and all in between that doing some flight simming in between to kind of like practice the theory mostly. The handling elements, obviously there's only so much you can do, and it's necessary if anything, but yeah, it's certainly invaluable from a training point of view. When we streamed in the Fly JSim 737-200 in May, I got a lot of messages from guys who are doing their MCC training. That's training from when you finish your instrument rating to get you used to multi-crew flying. And they said it was kind of really useful. It kind of reminded them of the MCC, which is all it is. Flying VR radials distances, which is quite cool. So yeah, always quite cool to use sims to train, which is pretty cool. To avoid, set your transponder to TRA, it should be there. TRA, there you go. Did that when we lined up. Snapshot through Avel, fiddlesticks. I've got to go. Really love the stream. I'll catch you later. Bye, my face. See you soon, bud. You've had a very long week as well. And again, for those who don't know, Snapshot 345, who does pop in when he can, he flies the Sentinel for the Air Force. Really, really knowledgeable guy. Awesome. Probably get transferred to Unicom soon. So looking at the VATSA map, we're outside of the Langen Centre coverage. Listen out for that.
Jet 238, Bremen radar identified, proceed direct Nienburg, November, India, Echo.
David, is there any way you can ask your airline to reduce
Also 431,
cabin temperatures at hand, rocking up looking like a molten mess?
Although Lima Bravo Unicom is in the south.
Just towards the cabin crew, the cabin crew talk to us and then we can do something about it. But the 737 has a very archaic temperature control system. The air comes from something called the mixed manifold, so and the pack's basically set a temperature to demand what needs the most cooling. So the cold cabin goes into the flight deck, most of it gets recirculated to the cabin. This is the front of the cabin, rear of the cabin, and we usually keep it something like this: AU and T on the letters, and that usually gives a decent temperature. But some aircraft it's hot, some aircraft it's cold. When we're on the ground, if it's 30 degrees outside, they're right down here. Providing air-conditioned air, and if it reports it hot, I do something like that. But yeah, if I ever happen to fly with you, I'll whack those temperatures down. It's a very archaic system, it does work. Peter, what's the funniest, almost cringy pilot conversation you've had in real life? I wouldn't say I've had a cringy one. Funny, probably several, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. I remember doing my line training in London, cleared me to a waypoint called Stoat, Sierra Tango Oscar Alpha Tango. I mispronounced it completely. I think I said Stoat, so he goes, no, Stoat's, you know, the little furry animal. And I was like, okay, thanks, direct to Stoat. And the training captain looked at me like, yes, Stoat. I was like, oh, sorry. But nothing, that's just always comes to my head. I always remember that for the humiliation. Jason Grace, do you prefer flying gliders or big planes? Well, obviously I love flying what I do every day. I've not flown a glider for nearly 10 years. A big part of me wishes I kept it up.
Broadcast 01, no further ATC available, monitor Unicom 122.8, alright.
Unicom 122.8 broadside 01. Thanks for the service, choose. I think it was June. Right, 122.8. There we go, back onto Unicom. So there we go, I can relax a little bit, not have to. One less thing to do. There we go. Yeah, so gliders, flew Phukats and the Grob many years ago, but a part of me goes, yeah, I wish I'd kept that up. But I'll be honest, I sometimes like to see the end of a back of an aircraft these days. So I usually fly the best part of, well, now I'm out the sim, I'm going to probably do 700-800 hours a year. So yeah, I like to sometimes see the back of an aircraft, if I'm honest. Dylan Young, I'm flying a VATSA event from EDF somewhere, so somewhere in Germany to Dubai. Would you ever consider flying a long haul once in a while? I don't know. Maybe when I reach 30,000 subscribers, we'll do like a celebration, and we'll try and take the ZIBO mod across the Atlantic, and I'll try and find a time where I've got 6 hours, which is not often, but we'll see. Let me know in the chat what you think about that. We could do a long haul with the mod, or we could get another aircraft, but you'd be surprised that a 737 that's completely empty will fly quite a long way. We'll have to set the payload until it's quite empty and then get away. Oh, which reminds me, whilst we're not talking to any ATC, let me talk a bit about ZIBO mod and what ZIBO wants to do for 3.35. So one feature I think you'd like to see now, you'll see you have the Optimum and Max flight levels appeared here. Now, all I simply did was I had a very long flight the other week, and I was just taking a look at the Optimum Max flight level as we went along the route. So I was looking at the fuel burn, our gross weight, and then looking at how the Optimum Max changed. And I basically just gave the information to ZIBO. I think primarily it just comes from gross weight now. So we've got all the optimum max flight levels from about 60 to 72 tons. I still need to get the optimum max flight levels for less than 60 tons. At some point they reach 410, which is the maximum certified altitude. But with the way that X-Plane Alert works and the flight model, when you fly your optimum, it should be, again, the most optimal altitude. Now, from a efficiency point of view, if you're interested, we don't always aim to be at the optimum flight level, because one thing the FMC optimum max flight level doesn't take into account is this, the wind. So often Lido flight plan is very intelligent. It'll go, all right, if there's quite a strong headwind here, I might actually fly you below your optimum flight level. So we actually go off whatever the flight plan usually says. Or we can ask ATC for a spot wind at a different level. The wind might be slightly different than forecast. So yeah, that's one thing that has changed. Another thing which has been updated is previously when you passed top of descent in the ZIBO mod, you couldn't update the cruise altitude. The page was incorrect. ZIBO has now begun the work based on a little bit of feedback of updating your cruise level after descent, or updating your cruise level in the cruise, to ensure that the FMC is correctly depicting all the information. It's in its early work at the moment, but hopefully in the future you'll have a far more accurate FMC. He's left several questions, some I can answer, some I can't. But if any of you happen to be a 737 pilot in the live stream and you want to give input to the project, either drop me a message, drop ZIBO a message as well, and he'll help answer that. I mean, there's certain things ZIBO asks which we don't ever really do on a day-to-day basis, so I can't really answer. And the FCOM 2 is quite limited in providing information regarding how the FMC works. We just have to have a fiddle with it there. I've got a £5 donation coming in from Dom. Thank you very much. For fun, can you show me how you'd apply the ram air turbine? Show, not do please. Love the streams. Go to Greg's on me. How do you apply the ram air turbine? How do you deploy the ram air turbine? Are you talking about the RATs? There isn't a RAT on the 737. There is on larger long-haul aircraft. Yeah, I think that's what you're referring to. You won't find that on here. Because it's a smaller aircraft, it doesn't need that sort of additional power there. But yes, if you look online, that's where you would find the most bit of information about ram air turbine. I think you'll get it on something like a 777 or a 75, but not on this aircraft. But thanks for the donation nonetheless. I'll get myself a sausage roll on the way to my base tomorrow when I have a break from my long drive. Cheers. Awesome. Let's have a look at some of the comments regarding the long-haul flight then. Brian, London to Sydney, you've got to be kidding. Fly to, remember, the MH17 from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur. Well, that's something we could do there. Wow. Captain Panna, is it possible to cross the pond with 737? When I tried from London to New York, I didn't have enough fuel. Well, you probably had way too much higher gross weight. If you had a full load of passengers and cargo, you won't make it across there. But one with a restricted load, perhaps, the MAX is more than capable of it. There's a lot of airlines that were, prior to its grounding, flying transatlantic and the MAX from Europe to America in the MAX there. So, yeah, the NG can do it, but it would have to have a very limited load. Owen, will the sausage roll be before or after the bacon roll? God, it's not going to be good for my diet. I'm thankfully quite a slim lad, so it shouldn't be an issue. All at once, bacon roll, for which that chap donated earlier, and the sausage roll. Christ, I bought Greg's out by the end of the week. Unbelievable. Oh yeah, yes, of course, ferry to Fowl. Yeah, I did mention that I'd like to do a ferry flight one day as a kind of a celebratory stream there, so going all the way from Boeing Seattle to somewhere in Europe, which is often what they do when they deliver new aircraft. We'll do the Blue Spruce routes, which is where non-ETOPS aircraft go. So they have HF installed, they fly Oceanic, but not across the Atlantic, not along the North Atlantic tracks. What is the temperature on my thermostat now? 26.5 degrees in here. It's really hot. In fact, what I'm going to just do now, I'm going to open my office window because the sun is westerly facing, so when the sun sets, I shut the blinds to keep the heat out, but that has now set. I'm actually going to open the blinds, so if you just give me 2 seconds, I'll get the window open so I can start cooling down. There we go, I'm back now, and the Oh, the office window is open and I can already feel the cool air going down my spine. It's lovely. Devoid, are you interested in getting a VATSIM pilot rating? I have no idea how one goes about doing that. I'd like to hope that with my qualifications I'd already get some sort of default rating of some sort, but I've not ever looked into it. I'm just, as far as VATSIM is concerned, a regular user. A380-800, which button do you use to activate better pushback? Well, if you use the ZIBO mod, it is fully incorporated into the mod, so you can see it here. And lo and behold, because I got up and opened the window, look who's just walked in. It's Jack, my dog. Come on then, up here. Oh, bless him. Oh, he's sniffing me. Alright, buddy, alright. Oh, dear, yeah. He's quite tired because he got quite a long walk today. Oh, good, you're going to pull the microphone out there. PC, good boy. On your bed, on your bed. So I've got a bed in my office now. He's usually settled down. He's more interested in me now because I'm giving him some attention. Marcelo, what are you using for the clouds? These are default. Sorry, you guys are all staring at the AviTab and EFB there. These are just default clouds. It's X-Plane 11, and I think Active Sky do have some sort of textures involved there as well, so you can use those as well. Look at all the Jack emoticons coming in there. Excellent. Brilliant. Tree fella going with £5 with more Greg's themed donations. He's come in there, and that's for the Apple turnover. Unbelievable. Thanks a lot. So what I'm going to have to try and do tomorrow is on my story, I'll get all this stuff and take a picture of it on my story so I can say thanks for the donations. Greg sausage, no, what is it? Oh, I'm going to have to start making a list. Apple turnover. Oh, what was it? Sausage roll, sweethouse? Oh, flipping egg. Thanks a lot, tree fella. Right, approaching Gorlo. I think that's, if I remember rightly, is the boundary between Maastricht and London. So we hopefully get some ATC at some point. Jerry the Pilot, do you use Xenviro? I've heard of it, but I don't. I quite like my setup as it is. Again, I don't want to start flooding the mod with things there. I mean, a lot of your donations go into scenery. I always try, wherever we stream, I always get the pay-where scenery for. I think I've got over 40-50 airports now. Active Sky, I think, is a must as well for the more accurate weather injection as well. So, yeah, it's other things too. I will probably look as well to upgrading the PC. I mean, it runs really reasonably well here. I mean, what's my frames per second here? Running pretty much all of it there. It's 25 frames per second, so it's not as high as I think it could be. So I will look to getting it all updated. Stuart Walsh, vegan sausage roll or regular? I'm not a vegan or vegetarian, but I do like the Greg's vegan sausage roll. They are really actually quite nice. So probably a vegan one. I did have a Greg's yesterday actually. I had tuna sandwich. I did have a sausage roll. No, I didn't have I had a steak bake and the donut with sprinkles on top. It cost me £5 I think, which is a lot less than all those donations you guys keep doing. Oh dear. SC. Lol, I just figured out your name. Clever sir, salute. Well, congratulations if you did. Have a medal. That's what we say on Xbox. If one of us goes off and one says, I win, we just send them a medal emoji on there, and you've got yourself removed. Ciao. Fubsy, thinking of doing my PPL would only be for recreation though. Would you recommend, and how expensive is it to rent a plane for that use? Now again, my SCP rating, which obviously my PPL, I have a full ATPL now, so my SCP rating, which allows me to fly light aircraft, is long expired. Part of me, as I said earlier, wishes I kept that going. I don't know what it costs now. I think you can do your PPL, I don't know, £7,000-8,000. I'd be guessing at that rate now. And I don't know what it would be for an hourly rate these days. Probably about £150 to rent an aircraft. You can get shares in aircraft though. It's unfortunately in the UK very expensive compared to say flying in the US. It's a lot more accessible out there, which is a great shame. But yeah, that's the way it is. But I'm not the best person to ask those sort of things there, I'm afraid, anymore. But best of luck to you. And certainly if I didn't had the opportunity to go commercially, I would have kept my PPL and flown recreationally. Awesome. Phil Edwards, favourite part of a flight? Landing on the last day. No, you've got a few days off. That's probably my favourite. No, it depends really. If the weather's really rubbish and not fun, there's a bit of a challenge, a bit exciting, but in a way, especially now I'm in charge and everything, I kind of like it just to be as easy as possible, if I'm perfectly honest. But no, the landing's always fun because from a commercial point of view, there's not much manual handling. We can't just disconnect at 36,000 feet and hand fly if we want to, unless there's an issue. I try and hand fly as much as possible. So if we're flying into somewhere that's very quiet, I typically hand fly from up to 15,000 feet and descend from 9,000 feet or so, just wherever I want really. But I'm not going to do that in the London TMA, flying into the busiest airspace. I'm going to do that somewhere it's quite quiet and a bit more flexibility, less workload. Alrighty, so right, approaching top of descent in about 20 minutes, so let's start chatting about East Midlands Airport. Where are we? Let's have a look on a map. So just approaching the eastern part of the English Channel, or the southern bit of the North Sea, whatever you like to see. We're going to continue westbound, and then we're going to make a right turn northbound, approximately about 15 minutes before, around where we're going to start our descent. And here is East Midlands. You've got Nottingham, Derby, and where are we looking here? Not depicted very well on this map. There it is, East Midlands Airport. This map's really detailed. Oh, flipping heck! Wow. Look at that, that is so detailed. OpenStreetMap, yeah. That's really detailed, the map you get with Avitat, that's really cool. Anyway, let's start talking about the descent. So we've got the charts open, and let's step through exactly how I'd set up a descent here. So we'll use the speeds from the flight plan. Actually, I'm just going to read it straight off the OFP, which I have right in front of me. And again, ZIBO has made some input now, so if you put the winds in, it will affect the idle descent path from VNAV, which is pretty cool. So we'll take the winds from 310, 200 and 100, just like we do in reality. And at 310 it is 319 at 87. So quite a headwind actually. Yeah, that was going to be picking up then by the time we go down and start descending. So we're probably descending into a slight jet stream there. 200 is 322 at 47. And 100 is 331 at 19 knots. There we go. Execute that. Now, the QNH in East Midlands right now. Just refresh the weather on my phone. It is 1018, so a little bit of high pressure coming in now, which should settle the weather down quite nicely. Temperature in East Midlands is 18 degrees, and up here it's -2, so -2 plus 3, it averages out for about 0 degrees or so. So that's all done, and we'll preset QNH on the PFD as well, which is always very important. Excuse me. Fixed rings then will be definitely runway 27 East Midlands this evening. The wind is 300 at 12 knots, and we'll put our infamous fixed rings in for situation where. So we've got 10-mile ring. We'll configure, aim to configure at 4 miles, 3 times your height. So at 36,000 feet, 3570, 105, 108. So that's 35 times 3 is 108. And that should roughly correspond with our top descent point, which it does. Again, that's just to increase situation awareness as we fly into East Midlands. Guys, thank you very much for all the weather information they're sending in. I've got one from Birdman there. Unfortunately, it automatically bans most of those numbers and letters. It thinks it's some sort of spam, but I did get it nonetheless. Thank you. Right, the Picket 1 Juliet arrival now. No doubt a lot of the UK followers who fly into East Midlands would like to know how this particular approach is flown. So, as we get towards East Midlands Airport, we fly the Picket 1 Juliet arrival. So basically it comes in from Welwyn, which is a speed limit point, 250 knots, and then to Velag. Now, typically when you fly into East Midlands, just prior to Velag, London Control will hand you over to East Midlands radar, and from Velag, they'll either give you a vector. I'd say 99.9% of the time they'll go broadside 01 after Velag, heading 360 degrees vectors for ILS 27 or ILS 09. What we leave in the FMC then, we put Velag updug, and then we just route direct to the centre fix. Now, if it's busy, they'll tell you to go Velag updug, Pigot, enter the hold. Now, that's only if it's pretty busy or there's some disruption. So what we're going to do is manipulate the FMC to get what we expect. So that's Velag updug, and then direct to the centre fix runway 27. So moment. There it is, Velag upduck. We're going to remove Pigot for the hold and just route direct to CI27, and that's it pretty much. That's what we leave in the FMC. That kind of accurately represents the vectors you'll get flying into there. Now I'll change the centre fix to 2,000 feet or above, so the aircraft plans are for a little bit more of a CDA, and then we'll pictorially see how it looks, make sure it's looking correct on the ND. So you can see here, well in, Velag, there's a little turn towards upduck. We generally leave that in just in case they tell us to hold, then the aircraft after Velag at least heads in the right direction. If we get vectors, we can just delete upduck and route direct to the centre fix and then just update it. Onto the ILS, and we fly there. Now it's nice and simple ILS. ILS 27 then, frequency is 109.35. And this is exactly what the guys will be flying this evening as well, coming in right now. 109.35. There's no VOR associated with the approach, but for the star we can put in... I can't remember what it is, it's been such a long haul. It's not even associated with us, but we'll put in Daventry on standby. It's probably the nearest VOR there, 16.4. There we go. There's no need to do that, but hell, it's just something to put in. Hello again, Jack. He's just walked in. Final approach course is 269. 269. And we've got a height check over the locator, which is 353.5. And that's fine. You can set it to the nearest 0.5 on the mod. It will tune it fine. Minimums are 482 feet, which is standard Cat 1 height. 200 feet AGL, so 482 to come up onto the PFD. There we go, 482. Excellent. So vectors for the approach then, onto the ILS, platform's 2,000 feet. We intercept the ILS at 5.2 miles, so it's quite a low platform into EMA. And then it's 3 degree ILS, and we've got a height check over the beacon, down to the minimums, 482. And the missed approach, if we have any problems, we'll climb straight ahead. Where is it here? To 3,000 feet or 8.8 miles, whichever's sooner. So we'll probably get to 3,000 feet first in the 737. And once we're at 3,000 feet, just make a right turn into towards the beacon and enter the hold. Now, it's most likely if you were to go around at East Midlands, that wouldn't happen. You'd go around and they just simply hand you over to radar and they'd vector you for another approach, or you'd divert and go from there. So that is it. Terrain's not an issue around here. The highest MSA to the south, northwest, 2,700 feet. So if there's any problems, we lose situation awareness, we'll maintain 3,000 feet around East Midlands. We've got PAPIs, high intensity approach lights, category 2, and that is essentially it. Now, Tom, who donated very kindly earlier, did ask, and he dropped me a Facebook message regarding landing performance. Now, I need to do this prior to the stream sometimes. I need to punch the OPT performance and put it into the mod so you can see the screenshot here. Now, here at East Midlands, we've got runway 27, 2,893 metres. Now, we don't want to use all of this runway up, especially if it's busy. They want us to vacate as soon as possible. Now, Sierra, that's pretty tight. You'd really have to be quite light. You want to go flat 40 max auto brake. You're not going to do that routinely. It's uncomfortable for the passengers. You're going to wear the brakes out. There's no point. So Mike's the target here, this exit here. And Mike's going to be approximately, I don't know, just over 2,000 metres or so. Now, I've got the OPT performance here. It's telling me for flat 30 auto brake 3, it's 1,800 metres. And we'll go idle reverse today. When it's usually the last flight of the day, we go idle reverse for noise. The stopping distance on a dry runway makes no difference if you're using reverse or not, if you use auto brake setting there. So, we're all set. Landing performance is calculated, flat 30, auto brake 3, idle reverse, vacate Mike, and then, well, if there's any ATC, we'll let him taxi us on stand, but if you're a passenger aircraft, they typically park you here on the central apron. And that is it. We will go from there. I hope that all made sense. Nice simple briefing today, flying ILS compared to some of the more complex airports we go to. Right, so I'm looking at the ATC VATSIM map. Looks like we're approaching London airspace. Briefing is all complete, ready for the approach and descent. Hopefully get a nudge from someone telling us to contact there. Aita, do I have a Facebook page? Absolutely. It's called Facebook at flightsim.com. You don't need to go blurting out that name. David Smith, is the power station model on the approach? Captain Canada was loving the East Midlands new scenery last night, had to vect him around a thunderstorm. I have no idea. I've installed the ORBX scenery. I haven't actually loaded it up to see if it's there. I'm fingers crossed it is actually, but I did install it. I just didn't have any time to do any sort of flying prior to the stream today to test it, so hopefully it has worked. I literally just went, had my dinner really quickly, ran up, fired up the sim and went. Dougal, have you ever flown to Bristol? I used to work security there. I have flown to Bristol, again, not for a number of years. Perfect. I'm going to take a picture of my dog and send it to the members so they can see exactly what he's looking at when I'm streaming. He's just staring at me going, what are you talking to? Oh, dear me. Oh crikey, lots of messages coming in on there. Kim, I just read your message on Netherlands or Holland. Oh dear. Anyway, there you go, there's Jack, you can see him. Liam Metzer, hi Captain, I flew an 800 simulator at age 16. Very good. That's pretty cool, you know. And hopefully you'll get a few more sim sessions and see if you have a like for it, and then you can pursue it as a career as well. There's quite a few 737 sims in the UK now, which is pretty cool. There we go. To all users, please be aware wind shear microburst at flight level 210,000 feet westbound are being knocked, of course, multiple times. Or is it my bad flying? It's brilliant. Well, unless he's in the space shuttle, I'm not sure what he had there. Well, wind shear microburst you won't get at that sort of level. Oh, that's pretty terrible. Oh dear. Jerry the pilot, which dog do you have? 4.5-year-old Labrador, golden Labrador. I won't tell you my name, but I'll tell you my dog's, and that's Jack. Martin R, how easy to perform a grease landing on a 737? I mean, the landing technique we apply every single day, and sometimes we pull it off, and you know, with a bit more experience, you can become more consistent at smooth landings. But on a long runway, great. We've got a bit of an opportunity to try and put a smooth landing there. But some runways are pretty short. You don't want to be going floating down the runway. Just apply that technique, which I have in my landing tutorial, which I did back in the PMDG. Still works the same in the mod. That's the check, close, hold technique. So you come over the threshold around 50 feet. That's the aim. Doing around 800 feet per minute. You get to around 20 to 30 feet, you check. Now the check is just a gentle pitch back on the control column. You then close the thrust levers, and on the real aircraft, it's not so pronounced in a desktop simulator, but on the real aircraft, when you reduce thrust, on like the 737, which has underslung engines, the nose wants to come down, so you just have to hold the attitude in the real aircraft. Don't let the nose come down. You don't want to land on the nose wheel there. But have a look at that tutorial and follow the guidance there, and that should get you getting some kind of half decent landings in the mod. But you haven't seen my streams, you know. Generally, I think my landings are alright, but we've done a few 400-500 feet per minute smash them downs. Nothing wrong with it there, and especially on the 800. They're built like brick houses, incredibly strong main gear. I mean, you will break it if you don't pitch up, but yeah, they can take quite a bit of punishment. My Chinese friend saying it's almost 4 AM in Shanghai, I'm dead. Oh, you just got to hang on, I don't know, for about another half an hour. Was it 1954-28? Yeah, we'll be touching down in half an hour. God, that is committed to the Flight Data Sim live stream. My goodness. A380-800, how do you check the VAT map? I have an app on my phone, and it's literally called VAT Traffic, and it shows you all the traffic online, includes me, because I've got my VATSIM ID appointed to myself, and then we're going from there. Now, I think the reason I've got no ATC coverage is because the sector is controlling airspace far lower. I'm well inside this airspace now, but I don't have any coverage. Christ, look at that. Look at all those frequencies. There is a London North Centre here, but I guess he's covering a lower altitude. So we've got no messages in telling anyone to contact, or if I have, I've missed it. Unfortunately, no East Midlands airport there. Every other airport. Guys, if I get, you know, Friday nights sometimes I'm out and about and stuff, but if I ever get any nights free on a Friday night, I'm going to try and do some more streams, because it's... I'm looking at the VATSIM map, it is absolutely balmy. It looks like the real flight radar. It's absolutely hectic out there. Ruben Maria, I heard that a good landing can't be too soft because the systems need to be activated to ensure touchdown on the ground. Is that true? Yeah, there's actually a degree of truth to that. Sometimes, you know, there's something called a air ground sensor on the 7.3, and for the spoilers to deploy, you have to activate that. And sometimes if you're very soft, you touch down, and sometimes it's still, you know, essentially flying whilst not putting any weight on the wheels, and you won't get the speed brakes come up. So yeah, you don't want to be completely greased, if you know what I mean. But that, you know, that's more an issue there. But the chances of doing that are pretty slim anyway. But yeah, I don't always aim. You know, if I'm flying into a very short runway, I don't aim for a smooth landing. I just want it in the touchdown zone, because I don't want to have to explain to my chief pilot why I've got the 737 in the grass, and I can't go, oh, I was trying to get my greaser in. You know, that won't cut it. Okay. Yes, there is some sort of. I've said it many times. You know, I shouldn't say obsession, but it's not. You know, a pilot's ability to land smoothly isn't what we're always looking for. Kent Mill, how do you think you do as a VATSIM air traffic control? I think I could have a good stab at it. Now, when I was in the simulator, I still am a TRI, but when I was instructing before becoming a captain, I had to do ATC for the guys. You know, self-vector the sim onto approaches and stuff like that. So I think I've got probably more than the average user. But yeah, I think I'd have a fair go, but I just don't have the time for that, unfortunately. Jerry the Pilot, I'm not a big cricket fan, but obviously very happy that England have made the final on Sunday, and I will endeavour to watch that. In between that, the British Grand Prix as well, but I am working in the morning. But yes, obviously we do hope that they win. They did absolutely pummel Australia. I don't know much about cricket, but I did watch the highlights of them absolutely pummelling Australia yesterday, which is quite enjoyable. Ferry to Foul, London Control is up. Yeah, I think they are, but I think they're doing a lower level, so I've certainly not been asked to contact anyone. How do I check the frequency? Because usually on the VAT traffic map it tells you the height of where they are flying. Oh, I'm not sure. Virtual Aviator, I don't answer any questions regarding my employment status, so there's no need to ask, because they will simply not be answered. Kim, do we have time for diversion to alternate? I've invested in that ORBX scenery. Actually, there will be one day where we do stream and we will have to divert. We did nearly once have to. I think we're flying into... It was one of my earlier streams. I think we're going into Warsaw, Chopin, you guys did tell me how to pronounce it correctly, and we only just got in there. But yeah, as I said, I will, when I stream, endeavour to do everything as realistically as possible. Sometimes, if I'm running a bit late, I will maybe just crack on and try and get her on the ground or something. But no, we'll see how we get on in East Midlands. We haven't done any scheduled go-arounds. We did do a go-around once on the stream as a demonstration offline, but no, we haven't actually had any destabilised approaches yet. A380-800 VAT traffic, where did you get it? It's in the iOS store. I have an iPhone. No doubt it's available for Android as well. Cool, so been chasing the sun all the way. It hasn't set because we're obviously flying westbound, following the sun. So obviously set's a lot slower, and I'm sure a lot of you know Concorde had the great ability of flying westbound, and actually after the sun had set, it was going so fast you'd actually see the sun rise again, which must have been a pretty awesome experience. GamerTube, give ATC a ping with your transponder. Works for me if he forgets to contact me. Well, Squawk Ident, you mean? Well, I'll press it and see what he says. like I said, if anyone, I don't want to just call up and go, oh, I'm only doing a lower sector. You know, I've always waited for them to contact me and stuff, and I'm sure, I'm looking at the FATSIM map, he's probably dealing with all these other airports around as well. There's a lot of traffic going into Heathrow and Gatwick on FATSIM tonight. Thank you, Birdman. Latest weather in East Midlands, 1950, so it's 12 minutes ago. Westerly winds, Cav OK, 17 degrees, 1018. Lovely. So we'll start turning up some of these lights as well. Actually, I don't usually in the real aircraft, but I like to turn the dome on in the mod when we're flying at night, so you can see a lot more of the aircraft. Oh yeah, of course, the Blackbird could as well, Les, yes. Oh, he's north, not controlling south or central England. There you go, that's why we don't have the ATC. Anyway, we're approaching top of descent here, and what I would actually like to demonstrate is the cruise descent function, which is something that ZIBO has modelled. So what I'm going to do is, imagine AT gave us an early clearance to 340 to descent, and what we might do, not usually if we're this close to top of descent, you should be able to now in the mod, well actually if I do this, I'm going to push out into vent, which activates descent mode, and you can see here correctly the cruise page is clear. Now in the mod before, it used to be incorrect, but this is now correct. You should get the cruise out, and you should now be able to update your cruise level like so, execute it, and then you have an updated cruise level, and then you get your new top of descent point based off your updated cruise level. So that is something ZIBO's updated very recently, certainly in the last week or so, based on some feedback. So yeah, that's a function that's been updated. You've still got all the optimal max cruise levels as well, which is really, really cool. So we're doing that now at what we call a cruise descent. We're not doing a descent, a cruise descent to our new cruise level, which is pretty cool. Tough Bob, it's time to start to descent your inside your outer ring. Yeah, that's more for just situational awareness. To be fair, actually, I wouldn't expect it to be that far out, but we'll use the top descent in the mod today. Looking at the distance, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. 108. Actually, we are probably a tad high, but yeah, I'm not sure. We're going to work with ZIBO's top of descent point and see if there's any issues with it. I'm always getting this as well, these ORBX messages about the scenery. They always load correctly. And then I get this annoying message up when I try and update the ORBX saying your libraries need to be synced or something, which I tried doing, didn't work. And it goes from there. Gianni, Airline reveal at 1 billion subs. Christ, I don't think we'll ever get that high. quite a niche following, really. I won't even quote anything to say I'll reveal who I work for. I might have changed by then, you never know. If I get the time off, I might be going to the expo in the Gosford, so you get to see me there. Where are we going? Why are we turning left? Oh my goodness. Right, so it's updated to Hemel, but then started to turn left for some reason. Not sure what caused that. Anyway, we're approaching 340, new top of descent points right on top of us. It's saying reset MC altitude, which is correct. And we'll imagine now we have had descent to, let's say, 180. That would be a typical clearance. So we're not having to self-descend there. And VNAV should, wow, it's climbing slightly. If I push out to vent, and we should now do 1,000 feet per minute until it captures the profile. There we go, here comes retard and arm very shortly. We're intercepting the VNAV. Why is that not gone to retard and arm? This should go retard arm. One of the reasons as well we are setting quite late is look at that headwind, 103 knots, so the top of the descent has been built there quite late, but this should go to retard arm now. Maybe if I close the thrust levers. No, it's staying in FMC speed for some reason. Not sure why. Oh, there we go, it's got to arm. We never got retard arm for some reason. Anyway, down we go, finally. Now 15 minutes in the cruise, and we are somewhere overhead. The UK, there we go, we're directly overhead London. Look at that, see if we can see anything outside. It's too dark, unfortunately. Oh look, that looks like Stansted there. I think that could be Stansted or Gatwick, I'm not sure. Stansted. Why is it adding thrust? Oh, drag required. Okay, fair enough. So it's adding thrust because we got a bit low on our target speed, which is 0.77 for now. Should go back to retard and arm now. Steve Glenister, I'll have to dash, but I'll catch the rest later. Awesome. Yes, it's usually available an hour after I've streamed once YouTube has finished rendering everything. Oops, I never set the bank angle to 10 degrees above 300. So it looks like this idle path is definitely not planned on 284 knots. The speed's reducing quite quickly there. Oh no, it seems to be quite... well, yeah, that's better. It's better. It was a little bit stagnant before. Dan Bennett, I have no idea what Nightbot is on about there. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what you've said, but it's very sensitive. It does get hurt easily, so any sort of profanity, it often boots you straight out, and that's more to do with the fact that often you might get a few younger viewers who have nothing better to do except to shout profanity, so that's why we have it so they're so high. Mitchek coming in with a very good question. When taxiing, do you use rudder pedals or nose wheel steering? We use both really. Primarily the nose wheel tiller, which is for tight turns, taxiing, probably whilst you're moving in our apron. But actually, when you're on quite a long straight, doing about 20-25 knots, if you use the tiller, it can be quite jerky. So I actually use a little bit of rudder. The rudder is connected to the nose wheel and gives a limited amount of nose wheel steering, and it can be a lot smoother on a long line. So I use a bit of both. But on the mod like this, if you don't have it, just the rudder pedals is fine. You can set obviously to act as the tiller. Now I don't think ZIBO's really taking into account the mod, these strong winds, because look at our speeds deteriorating here. It can in the real aircraft, but probably not as much as that unless the winds are completely incorrect in the FMC. So what I'm going to do is manually add thrust now, just to get back up to our target speed of 284 knots. We have a decel here, which is for the speed limit point at Welling, where we reduced to 250. Mitch, I tried to configure the tiller on my joystick for the ZIBO, but it doesn't work. Make sure that I've got in these settings for a long time. Hardware, that you have nose wheel access to yaw. I think that's it. There might be some other setting, perhaps, but I know people have had issues in the past. That seems to work fine for me. So probably, unfortunately, no ATC today, which is a shame. This guy's not covering our area. No ATC. There's ATC in Coventry, but not East Midlands. Who's going to go into Coventry? Never mind. So yeah, adding a bit more thrust then, just to get our target speed back to 284. It's not quite planned an idle path descent here. There we go, match the heading. Look at that sunset. Looks fantastic in the sim, doesn't it? Awesome. Yeah, these colours are just spot on as well. Absolutely awesome. Lovely smooth day to go flying as well. No turbulence. Brian Krieger, having trouble using route offset in the FMC. I cannot seem to command it to start the offset straight away. It's forcing me to insert a waypoint. Now, I mean, we don't really use in Europe much offsets. It's all completely controlled airspace at the upper airway. So you just usually, when you're typically being rerouted, you just get a vector. So I've never actually done an offset track. Now, if you should be able to put your offset in, how many miles, left 10, right 5, whatever, and then just say your entry and exit waypoint. It should just work. But again, I'm not trying. I'm not going to try now in the descent, but I'll have a look into that on my next test. Captain Panna, how do you choose your airports to fly from and to? Do you pick a random? Now, I have my members-only Discord. They have a bit of input there. Usually I make suggestions and they go, yeah, that's great, and stuff. Like, for example, today, I said, I really fancy going to East Midlands, and I said Berlin Tegel, because a few people said, there's a new ORBX, can you go into there? There's somewhere I wanted to go as well. So I usually let them have first bite. They also they know exactly when I am going to stream as well, so I keep, you know, they're close, a lot more closer to me, and I actually came on. I really like the input they do. It's like a little family in there. So yeah, they get to choose and stuff. There we go. So again, back to idle thrust. It's just struggling to maintain that target speed there. We've got 63 miles to run, so 6, 12, 18. This would suggest we're a little bit high. We times that by 3. We'll just keep an eye on it here. Just, as I said, I'd like to fly in VNAV when I can, just to make sure the mod's behaving correctly. But obviously we're flying into a little bit of a headwind, which would impact your descent path there. Devoid, can you make a public Discord? I won't make my members only public ever, because I just get every Tom, Dick and Harry coming in here, and it's, you know, they're getting quite a different service there. But I might do, but certainly at the moment I've got more than enough on my plate, streaming when I can, and keeping, you know, I give all my time to the members because they pay each month. So not for now, not for now. Right. Anyway, we'll continue descent to flight level 80 as we approach Velag again. I can assure you, all aircraft flying into East Midlands will be doing this exact routing this evening here. We're getting a little bit of moisture coming up on the windscreen as well. Well, if that is the case, that's cool. That's pretty cool. We'll put the engine anti-ice on. It is -1 outside. Box engine sounds fantastic. Love that. Who loves the sound of a box engine? Can you execute a missed approach on this flight? Would be interested to see. I'm not planning on doing. I have demonstrated a missed approach on a stream before, but if we, for some reason, get destabilised or told to go around way to see if it turns up, we will do so. Arletta, Sokausa, sorry, you asked me 6 times. How small is your monitor? I do get a lot of questions. I am trying to fly a 737 single pilot. Do occasionally miss the odd comment. It is the cheapest monitor you can buy. It's an Acer 1920 1080. I think it's 19 inches. I'm squinting as I look at it, but it works completely fine for me. I don't need a 4K monitor because it's just going to degrade my performance and stuff. But you should be able to stream a beautiful 1080p HD on whatever device you're watching. Right, there's the speed limit point for Welling, so the aircraft is now correctly pitching up. New target speed is going to be 250 knots. Prior to Welling, that's what the FMC is trying to do, maintain 250. And then from then onwards, we should be doing 250 knots as we continue our descent into East Midlands. God, Atom, I love the data pilot. Are you single? Unfortunately for you, I am not single. Lovely. I'm not a, you know, pilot. I'm pretty modest, you know, really. There is nothing nothing glorified about what I do. Oh, Alan Hughes. Sad to say I've watched from the influx of donations at the start of stream, but I have to go now. We'll watch a brilliant landing, which I'm sure will be the case. Oh, now you've jinxed it. Yeah, so again, thanks for your patience whilst that was all coming in there. That was insane, really. Take care, and all the best. Right, there we go. So now pitching for 250. That is looking much better for the mod there. Look at that. That is just the colours. I love it. That is so realistic. I need to take a screenshot of this and then compare it to reality. So good. Captain Panic, is that a crack? No, it's I think it's some sort of moisture effect of like streaming from the rain. We've got the engine anti-ice on as a precaution because X-Plane does like to be a bit exaggerative with the icing sometimes. Oh, pop the seatbelt sign on as well. Less than 15 minutes to landing. And what we'll do, we're just going to essentially after FedEx, what I'm going to do is self-vector onto this approach. So I can tell you from flying this airport quite a few times. After VELAG, they'll typically tell you Broughton 01 after VELAG heading 360 degrees, vector to ILS27. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to self-update the FMC. Yeah, it's a great show. I did see there was some ATC at East Midlands earlier, but they've all but buggered off. And it looks like the sun will just have set after we've landed as well. matching heading, because I said we'll fly heading on 360 after VELAG. Alright, so it looks like with idle path descent, we've actually pinged up to be a little bit high now. So there's VELAG, we're going to heading of 360 degrees. And all I'm going to do is route direct to CI27, so under vectors we keep the FMC updated. And that's showing us as, yeah, just 400 feet high or so. So in reality we'll go level change there, 250, because VNAV will die for that profile otherwise. And put you above 250 knots below 100, which is not what we want to routinely do. There we go. Right, so approaching flight 180, we can do the post-cruise checks now. So fuel, 4 pumps, lights. We can pop on as well, logo on as well. Anti-ice is on because there's a bit of moisture. Condition pressurization is set. Temperatures have been nice and low. Seatbelts on, recall, and we have now approximately 10 minutes to landing, guys. Awesome. So at this point here, we are on vectors. We're not following the magenta line. So, excuse me, the pilot monitoring, we would be kind of periodically updating this to keep VNAV updated. I mean, you can even create a waypoint here if you wanted, you know, to make it a little bit more accurate. So if I do CI27, something like 130 at, so going to be about 4 miles. That should make a waypoint pretty much ahead of us. Yeah, there you go, and then we'll go CI27. That's going to get a little bit more accurate VNAV guidance. There you go, just change it by a couple hundred feet. So I just created a waypoint here. And that's the idea, you know, when you're in vectors, you want pilot monitoring to update the information so the FMC in VNAV can provide you more updates. So it looks like the weather's updated because it is CAF OK. It did say it's East Midlands. That's the M1 motorway, and that would be East Midlands Airport there with the sun setting.
1,000 to go.
There we go. Right, 1,000 feet to go. So I'll imagine we've been cleared down to 3,000 feet. So that is now set. We'll set the local QNH, which is 1018, passing 8,700. And oops, I forgot to set that standard early, but we'll set that there. So we're passing now 8,600, setting 3,000 feet. Standby altimeter is set. Now, VNAV showing me a few hundred feet high, but that's fine. We're just going to keep it going down to around 3,000 feet. And that's exactly what I'd be doing in reality now. I'd be flying a level change because VNAV's putting us low. Don't need to use speed brake just yet. We're not that high, but if we continue to get high, probably reduce speed now, configure flaps earlier, or speed brake. There's so many different ways of doing it. But we'll just keep it going nicely down in the level change. Tim Fraser just about overhead me now. Excellent. There we go. See you in the virtual world. I have no idea what that little airfield is. That would be Leicester here, wouldn't it? That'd be Leicester Aerodrome there, wouldn't it? Yeah, a little Leicester Aerodrome. There's Leicester. That's pretty cool. Flying over everyone's house. Jamie Wallace as well. Awesome. ATC, no, unfortunately not Auto MC. The VATSIM, there's no controllers here at East Midlands this evening, unfortunately. Oh, temperatures above 10, well spotted. Hey, engine anti-ice can definitely come off now. Shouldn't be on with a tap above 10 degrees anyway. Vanilla Sky Gaming, I've started my PPO 1 week ago. Good luck for you. Congratulations. 502 people watching. Fantastic. No pressure, as per usual. Yes, of course, for those of you who have popped in recently, we do have a little... tells you what my landing rate is in feet per minute, which I know you all absolutely love to see. I've been told anything over 300 is very, very dangerous, and we're not good pilots. Gianni, which aviation headset do you have? I have Bose A20. Very much needed in the 737. It's extremely loud. Primarily because of these vortex generators. Well, actually, no, they actually disrupt the airflow to make it a little bit quieter. But you can tell if the aircraft doesn't have the vortex generators, it's a hell of a lot louder in there. Extremely loud. Perfect. So, all looking good. We can now do the approach checklist. So we confirm we've got the ILS frequency tuned 10935. The fixed rings we have as well. I'm the approach mode on the standby SFD, and we've got the inbound courses as well, so that is all set. Approach checklist is now complete. Glide slope's coming in nicely, and because I've been distracted, I've forgot to slow down, so we can start bringing the speed back now to the up speed. It's about as late as you can leave it, really. And we can just keep that FMC updated. The idea, guys, is at 10 miles away, we want to be around 3,000 feet above aerodrome level, about 200 knots, so we're probably a tiny bit high, but I'll bring the flaps out as soon as we get to 220 knots. And I'll give myself a nice little intercept heading, about 45 degrees, so if we go onto a heading of 315, that wind, I think that's fine enough. We're going to go flap 1 now, because we're getting a little bit high. I'm actually going to use speed brake as well. So I need to slow down and go down. We'll go flap 5. So there was flap 1. I'm going to bug about 200 knots. Don't want to be doing much more than 200 knots at 10 miles. You know what, we might be going around here anyway, because I'm getting high. But speed brake and flap 5 is going to get us down quite quickly. And we'll imagine we got descent to 2,000 feet as well. Right, correct sensing, we'll arm Vorlock. You don't want to arm approach when you're high on the glide slope, because you can get something called the false close slope capture. Now, what have I got missing there? Level heading select. I'm missing an FMA here. The pitch FMA, which should say... that should say idle, that should say MCP speed here. Why is that not saying MCP speed? No idea. Right, glide slope's coming in, we can't approach, vertical speed. That's strange. We lost that there, and I'm just using the vertical speed now to stay on the flight director. We can definitely stow the speed brake now, and I bug the flat 5 speed too. Steve Warren vector through the localizer. No, I'll try not to. There we go. Localizer coming in, localizer glide slope capture, a little bit of double penetration, 269, and runway heading. 3,000 feet is set. There we go. That's how we do it. Probably a little bit slower, but that's fine. Far rather be doing 165 than 220 at this point. And we've got a nice headwind on approach. And there is our destination finally. Has the ORBX scenery loaded correctly? I hope so. We'll have a look shortly anyway. Mitch Step. Question for my daughter. What breed of dog do you have? A Labrador. Golden Labrador. Treadage. Being a pilot must be relaxing. As long as nothing goes wrong, can be relaxing. It can also be extremely stressful. But we are trained to deal with those situations accordingly. Alright, yeah, it's YPOC. Don't forget Unicom. Yes, my goodness, my VATSIM etiquette out the window. Broadsword 01, final, runway 27, Echo Golf Member X-ray. There we go. Right. Here we go. Right. I've got my Havaiana flip-flops on my rudder pedals. It's already cooled down a little bit here as well. There we go. Right, so we're going to wait till about 4 miles, exactly where we configure around. See, we've got a bit of a crosswind, nothing too bad. It's going to be around 10 knots or so. We can land up to a 33 knot crosswind, believe it or not, in the 7.3. It's even higher with aircraft without the winglets. So yeah, let's go and configure. Get down flap 15. Match speed, landing checklist of flaps, start switches are continuous, recall, check, speed brake, armed green light, landing gear, down 3 green, order brake 3 set, just holding on the landing flap, which today is flap 30. With that wind, probably a correction, let's call it 7 knots or so. I've got someone coming in with the landing rate, 142 feet per minute. Oh, God knows. Now I've got my landing rate thing come up, I often try and grease her in more than I used to, so we'll see how we go. There we go, right, flaps, we've got 30 green light, lights are on, there's no one AEC, clear to land, and checklist is complete. Right, let's do some hand flying, let's get the flight plan out of the way, there we go, joysticks in the right position, disconnecting, autopilot order throttle is off, and here we go. So, I always try to like to talk to you on the final parts there, kind of telling you what I'm doing, what I'm looking at. So I'm doing what I am exactly in reality. At this stage, primarily the flight directors, they give me the exact guidance I need to stay on the ILS, but as we progressively get closer to ground, I'm looking outside more and more. That's RAS, just confirming we're approaching the right runway. and you can see with the crab there, the aircraft nose is slightly pointing to the right. We'll use a bit of left rudder as we come in there. A couple of aircraft who have just popped up as well. 500 continues, what our partner monitoring will be saying here. Look at all these landing rates coming in over the corner of my eye. Unfortunately, there's nothing that celebrates that. You just have to guess as close as you can. Checked. That's the M1 motorway directly below us. Yes, definitely updated. They've got all the new buildings that they've built there on the right-hand side. Look at that scenery, guys. Go away message. A tad high, so don't go too drastic. It's going to pitch down slightly, reduce a bit of thrust. Continue. Still 2 reds, 2 whites. Oh, the threshold at 50 feet.
50, 40,
Keep it coming down. Check, close, and hold the attitude. Oh, I don't know how far that was. Speed brakes up, reverses. Just going to go idle reverse. And let her roll around with the auto brake. So, there's 100 knots. Manual braking now, so don't want to miss the exit.
1,500 meters.
As Rouse confirming this is 80 knots.
80 knots.
Donations coming in as well. No idea what it was, the landing rate. 6 knots manual braking again. And the idea is just keep the aircraft rolling. You don't want to slow right down and have to add thrust on the runway. It's inefficient. So just brake and make sure you bring it, for a 90-degree turn like this, you want to bring it down to 10 knots for the turn and no faster. There we go. And there is 10 knots. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to East Midlands Airport. Local time in the UK here, 9:27. Flight deck to Sim Airlines. 20 minutes behind schedule because the captain had to keep accepting the donations and saying thanks. There we go. Vacated mic as brief. Right, let's start cleaning up. Flaps up, speed brakes up. Fixed landing lights can come off. Transponder to out off. Flight directors off as well. That one can set to 3,100. In fact, we can put to 100 auto brake to off. Strobes to steady. And probe can come off as well. Start switches to... Oops, no, don't want to start the engine again. To auto. Oh no, I need to turn. Make sure I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to make a left turn here. And we'll park in the central apron. There's no ATC around. So we're going to make a turn here, and we'll continue in here. We'll go in via Quebec, and we'll park around 15 or 16 or 17 or something. There we go. That was an enjoyable flight. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Nice little ILS, and I know East Midlands was wanting to be seen there, but I can tell you guys, having done that sector several times, well, not exactly from Tegel, but flying into East Midlands several times, it's most frequently runway 27. The way I came in is exactly how the guys come in every single day, so that's it. What was the actual landing rate there? 182, 152? Oh, not bad. Oh, I've managed to get them all below 200 then. That keeps all the hardcore flight streamers and simmers quite happy when I do soft landings like that. Right, let's crank up the APU. Make a right turn here. There we go. Oh, donations coming in galore. Tim again coming in with a £5 saying butter. Thank you very much. Trying to get a slightly different view as we come into the apron here. There we go. All these external views I keep requesting. There is a... What is that? A Ryanair 737 taking off. How cool is that? Nice. Yeah, not really following the line here. I'm having to think backwards because we're taxiing in this direction. It's quite a tight apron here in East Midlands. There we go, and we'll go right into this corner here. Actually, what stands are available looking externally? Let's go next to this Ryanair 737. What stand is? Stand 32. Well, 32, guys, is my lucky number. Believe it or not. Right, AP on the bus. Get back onto that taxi line. Wait until we're just past like the third DV window. That's when you want to start your turn. That's about there. Turn off and taxi lights can come off. That's pretty much full till of air, then just kind of straighten up slightly. That should get you right on the centre line there of the taxiway. Awesome. I'm going to log off FATSIM now as well. There we go. That should be pretty much on the centre line, I think. No marshalling here, unfortunately. We'll just align it with the Ryanair aircraft on the left. Something like that should do nicely. There we go. Parking brake is set. 2 blues, 1 red. Engines are dead. Passengers fasten seatbelt signs off. PA to the cabin crew. Cabin crew disarm slides, open doors. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to East Midlands. And we'll do the transit shutdown flow. So open the isolation valve. Squawk. 2000 standby. And then the anti-collision light can come off as well. There we go. Nice one. Midship, 5 quid coming in. Thank you very much. Great stream as usual. Really insightful. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much. A weekend of work awaits me, unfortunately. Or I should say fun. Guys, thank you very much for all the donations there as well. Incredibly generous. But we'll do what we always like to do. I'll show you on stand here in East Midlands. There we go. Another on-time flight, successful flight, no crashes yet. Also, we've been streaming, and at this point, as you well know, we like to do a little replay. So someone did tell me if we turn all the lights on, it makes sure that they all turn off and turn on correctly during the replay as well. So we'll do that, and we go to toggle replay mode and cue the end music. Excellent. So we'll do a few views from the threshold. So I actually want to see what that looked like there. Oh, crikey. There we go. Let's start from there. That looks like it's the perfect position. Coming over the threshold then, it's all a little bit depressingly flat. It's a shame ORBX didn't create some elevated scenery around here, because it is a little bit humpy and hilly around East Midlands. There we go, over the threshold. I did a little bit of a float, I think. Let's see what it looked like. So a little bit of a crosswind. Oh, it was looking firm. Oh, that was absolutely sweet as you could get. What was that? It actually didn't look as good as that in the flight deck. My goodness me. I might just do one more. Oh, that could have been extremely firm. Ah, you know, there's just some stuff you can't teach as well. Oh my goodness me. Right, let's have a look again from a different point of the runway. All that buttery goodness. Dear. Let's go from about there, which is where we touched down. Oh, look at that. Absolutely outstanding. Oh no, I know what I forgot to do. I forgot to turn off the touchdown calculator. 449 feet per minute? I don't think so. Project Fly overlay's gone. Sorry about that, guys. All these things I have to remember. And we'll just do one more view from the tower as well. Where is the tower? Right, I can't even remember what the command is for the tower. Oh my goodness, shift this, shift that. I've no idea, absolutely no idea how to get to the tower. There we go. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, well done. Right. Oh, anyway, guys, I think you had enough of the landings anyway. Awesome, right, so I'm going to pop you back into the flight deck so you can do some views from the landing from the window as I sign out for the stream. Guys, as I just said again a few minutes ago, the donations at the start of the stream was absolutely insane. I don't expect any of that anytime, so all I can say is thank you very much. To get something back for the amount of work I put in, it's really appreciated, and as I said, for a lot of you, absolutely no need whatsoever. I try and answer as many questions as I can nonetheless as well. Again, thank you for everyone that's subscribed as a member. I'll catch up with you on Discord in the next few minutes as well before I get myself to bed. I actually have a huge pile of ironing to do before I go to bed. Unfortunately, I don't get away from jobs too easily. When am I going to stream again next? I have absolutely no idea. I don't think on my next block of days off because it's my partner's birthday. We've got the parents coming over and I've got loads planned. So it is going to be, guys, unfortunately, probably 2 weeks, but again, I'll try and keep you posted of any changes. You never know, I might find some free time and I could stream as a very short notice. Once again, thank you, and I look forward to you having a great weekend, and I'll see you all very soon for the next Flight Deck Sim live stream. Very good night, take care.